What is going on, everybody? It is episode 321 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. As you can see from the title, we have a special guest in the studio who we're very excited to have back.
Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Vara Dark. I run a channel called Vara Dark, Dark Titan Media. I am a gaming live streamer and an entertainment commentator.
How you doing today?
I'm alive, so doing pretty good.
That's always good.
Someone commented, Mary's gonna like this guest. I heard she's very dark.
Yes,
That's me.
I very often say, one of my favorite things to say to Mary is, like, if I'm watching something, I'm like, you should watch this. It's dark. You'd love it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I don't know what that means, actually.
When
but,
in reality, I actually don't like dark things.
yes. So
You're wearing gray and
I
black.
just wear dark colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So we had a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We got to talk about Grace Van Dien. She's the daughter of Casper Van Dien from Starship Troopers. She is
Nepo baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, kind of, yeah. But she is taking a break from Hollywood because a producer on one of her recent projects propositioned her for a threesome. It's the most Hollywood thing you've ever heard.
It really is.
Is it not? Like, it's like when you think of Hollywood, it's like they should actually be trained for that.
It's so.
Like,
I'll get into that.
yeah, so we're going to talk about that. Vera's going to be very excited to talk about Seth Rogen. She loves Seth Rogen.
God,
I mean, she loves
crybaby.
roasting
Seth Rogen. She loves Seth Rogen. We're going to talk about he's a whiny baby. He's a whiny baby who doesn't want to be criticized for his work, which is not really something an artist has the ability to do if they're going to be an artist for profit. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Facebook making a big whoopsie by accidentally allowing a bunch of AI deepfake corn, as we call it here. I don't like that, but deepfake corn of celebrities like Scarlett Johansson and Emma Watson. Not good. And by the way, don't look up deepfake Scarlett Johansson just if you're on a work computer. Don't do it. No. I did that. It was a mistake. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least you admitted it
yes.
to an audience
Yes.
of hundreds to thousands of people.
I swear, it was for work purposes. I was doing research, and it was not good. It was not good. Don't do it.
Surely.
And we're going to talk about James Gunn getting into it once again, because, does the guy not have enough stuff to do in the day? He's fighting with fans over race swapping in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And we got a bunch of other stuff. Are you guys ready? Mary, are you ready?
We're ready.
Vera, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. So we're going to get into it right off the bat. This one made me so happy, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, I am the world's biggest fan of Cocaine Bear. Well, TMZ reported on this the other day. There is a cocaine cat that was just found.
This story made me sad.
Yeah. It makes me sad too.
I feel like someone
But it
watched the
survived.
movie and then
Yeah.
intentionally fed their cat.
They just wanted 2
drugs.
seconds of like publicity.
But this is like in Ohio,
yeah.
and this cat is only found in Africa. So someone like Tiger King adopted this cat illegally,
Yep.
and it got literally stuck in a tree, as cats are wont to do.
Yep.
And they found cocaine in its system. I don't even know why they chose to test the cat for drugs anyway.
You would that was my first
Probably
question. I was like, why would
behaving erratically.
Right.
Why does your first thought go to like a drug test? I
But
thought
she
maybe,
lived.
I thought maybe it would be like they would have like they were worried about like drug trafficking. Like did they make it a mule? Did they make the cat a mule and turn the cat into
I
a
hope not.
But
But she's okay. She's getting treatment.
It's so
and they
sad.
found the owner also.
yes, and the cat is okay. So that's why I said it makes me happy because the cat is okay.
The
But
owner
it
is
leads-
like, I have no idea how
Yes.
this happened.
And it leads into this story, ladies and gentlemen, which is that there is a trailer that has been released for Cocaine Shark. And yes, it is just as ridiculous as it sounds. We're going to watch it, actually. I didn't hear any copyrighted music. So, if we get copyright claimed, it's worth it, literally, to watch this, guys. So here we go. I mean, it's like replaying because I've already watched it because it's like I'm going to be this movie's biggest fan.
I was working for a kingpin named Garisco. Tons of mafia and drug money fueling his big campaign, HT25. The serum started failing, resulting in freaks of nature.
Not the best
horrible
voiceover.
creatures created
Freaks
by
of
its side
nature.
effects.
It is so
There's been
It's a
change of
shark that
plans.
growls like a
Yeah.
Change
tiger.
of plans. Because of the lab explosion, missing test animals.
The sound is just so
We had
crisp.
an accident at the lab, an explosion. The remaining specimens were either destroyed in the explosion or escaped.
Why does it have crab legs?
They needed to make it unique.
It makes you appreciate that bad Marvel CGI even better,
It really does.
doesn't it?
It's just good marketing.
I think
for
I
them.
saw something in the water. I think it was a shark.
I think it was a shark.
For sure. Look, you know who it sounds like? It sounds like Joey B. Toons. The voiceover? Doesn't it sound like Joey B. Toons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bad.
So, one comment said, "Give this all the Oscars right now.
All of them.
Release this nationwide.
It should be coming
Best
out right now.
species effect.
Look,
Best original story.
It's Sharknado quality. I see that in the chat. It's Sharknado
Yeah.
quality. That's fine. I don't care. I think they could have been more creative with the name, personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, I feel like they're just banking on like Cocaine Bear and all these different cocaine animal movies. It's like cocaine insert here. So I think that they're just hoping that fans of that will kind of
Yeah, well, they even
Follow
use the same
over.
font for the
Right.
logo. So
very original.
it is a D movie. It's not even a B movie or
it's
C
not even a
movie.
D movie.
No,
it's a Z movie.
it's a Z
Yeah.
movie, and I'm okay with that.
It's a home video.
I'm wondering, see, like this is where being in recovery is a problem because this is something we could do. We could like do like drunk watching and review. But
I thought you were gonna say we could just do cocaine and
yeah, no. Well, that too. But
title of
like,
a video.
I don't know if we can make that video. But like, the idea was like you could do like a drinking stream and watch this movie. Unfortunately, I can't do that. But something tells me you actually don't need it.
one of
with
the
this
comments
one.
said this would make any asylum movie look like Top Gun Maverick.
Yes, that is
Actually true.
So I don't know. Like to be fair, like I said, it does kind of put Marvel's bad effects into perspective.
It really does.
A little bit. Like we complain about like, look how unrealistic this looks, and then you go and look at this, and you're like, oh man, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We could just like do away with all of the VFX altogether, and I'd be happier.
Yeah. Does the shark like? I guess where are they going to get images of the shark to do it? Like
Right.
they can't get the shark to do whatever it wants.
I just don't understand the crab legs. How does
I
it
feel like they just wanted to be artsy, and they were like, "What can we do so it's not just a normal shark, but it's like different?" And then they were like, "Let's just."
I'm
get
not
some
like
extra
other
limbs.
sharks.
Right.
I'm a cool shark.
They didn't put anything like Jaws music in there, so that's good.
Right. I do agree that I'm glad that they didn't go in that direction and try to make it like a complete ripoff.
Yeah.
It looks like claymation.
Yeah.
It kind of does.
It does.
Stop motion or something.
So speaking of Disney, I did want to bring up this thing involving Bob Iger, in which he was talking about at a recent conference that he was talking about they're going to reduce costs on films and TV to focus on quality and not volume. That's great, but you should actually focus on both. Less volume too, and more quality. But quality
Right.
is part of the problem.
I feel like the problem that they're facing right now that we've heard multiple times is that they keep having to delay movies, and this is with a lot of companies actually because of the CGI, and it's
Yeah.
taking more time to do, and of course it's costing more. The problem is that while they want to kind of pull back on how many things, and they're saying it's because of quality, it's still going to probably be the same type of shows. We're still
Yeah.
going to get the She-Hulks.
Yep.
We're
It's
still
gonna be
gonna
the
get-
same quality.
Right, it's going to be the same quality story-wise.
Yeah.
It's just that they're making a couple less because, well, you know, we don't want as many creatives working on the CGI, and it takes a little bit more time now.
I thought they were looking to start banking in doing doing visual effects in-house. That was going to be a thing for a while, and that just kind of fell apart.
That, right, we haven't heard anything else about.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like they were talking about moving visual effects in-house, but they work with like 6 or 7
Right,
different
well, that's
visual
the
effects
problem.
Yeah, if you look through
Right.
Yeah.
toward the post
It's
credit
like this
scenes,
long.
Yeah,
they
it's
credit
a
like
lot.
at least 10 different VFX studios.
Yeah.
Which is good because a lot of people are getting work for them, but at the same time, that kind of plan that they initially said, we have heard zero information about now because I think it probably fell through for them.
Yeah, and that's hundreds
He
of
also
employees.
Yeah.
was talking about Star Wars at the same speech, and he
Yeah.
mentioned like,
Rest in peace, Star Wars.
you know, Rogue One, that went well for us.
Yeah.
Solo, bit of a disappointment.
It's funny to see him actually
decided to
admit
pull
that.
back, regroup, and we're
Right.
still making them.
Right.
The fact that Solo didn't make any money is actually like that should have lost Kathleen Kennedy her job right
I agree.
away.
I
Like
agree.
that's like if your job was in any profession where your job is based on performance at that level, right?
Right.
Like if you're a lower level employee, it's
You
not
don't
quite the
deserve
same.
to get fired for one fail,
But
but
the
someone
buck stops
like
with you.
her,
and for a
it's
property
completely
that
different.
big.
Right, it's
For
different.
a property the size of Star Wars. So it is what it is. I'm kind of happy because it means less of Marvel. And I just
Yeah.
look. I'm not excited about Daredevil Born Again per se because I don't think it's going to be Daredevil, not in the way that we remember it.
no.
It will not be the same Charlie Cox playing the same Matt Murdock. It will not be the same Vincent D'Onofrio, as we already know because we saw them both in Hawkeye, and they weren't the same characters.
Right.
And that was what I said from the beginning. I said it's not going to be the same because they won't allow it to be the same.
Right.
Though I would have liked to see them try to do Madame Gao in Marvel. Like, she
there's
was
so many
ruthless
things. Right.
in that. Like the funny thing is they got rid of Foggy, and he arguably he's the only one that actually fits the Marvel tone.
Right.
Like he's the only actor, Eldon Henson, who portrayed a character in all of the Netflix shows that really felt like he could have fit in a Marvel show.
Makes me sad, but Marvel's just kind of goofy now. I hate that word. It's just all the shows just feel goofy now.
And like they were like the movies before weren't necessarily goofy. That you could say they were homogenized in tone,
Right.
but they were just kind of a neutral tone,
Right.
Like a generic superhero tone. Now they're all generically goofy.
Right.
I will say Secret Invasion looks fine.
Yes,
At least
I
from
agree.
what I've
I think that looks interesting enough, but I think that's just some of the new cast members they're bringing on. Of course, I'm sure a lot of people will simp because Emilia Clarke is in it, the Mother of Dragons, but I mean, it looks better.
Yeah. Well, at least the trailer wasn't cut to
Right.
anything that was overtly jokey or funny.
Right, but that's the problem. We've seen, one trailer of it and
Yeah.
a couple of still images.
And everyone likes Samuel L. Jackson, so
Well,
he's
yeah, of course.
he's like
in anything, and people are freaking out.
Yeah.
They're
I
excited.
thought the trailer that we saw was actually fan made.
No, there was a real trailer. The one we watched that one day, the real one came out like 5 months before that, and then somebody made a fan made one out of that trailer and
right.
and moved stuff around.
Okay.
And that it was actually fairly well done, except for a couple of shots.
Well, we didn't catch it at first.
But until the shot of him and her, like where they moved Samuel L. Jackson next to her character, like that was very obvious. But I was like, are they making like a hologram? This is bad looking. And then it's like, that was a fan made trailer. But the actual one is up on their YouTube, and it's also up on
Yeah.
social media. It's good. So
I think
we'll
it's
see.
funny how everyone in chat is rest in peacing, like rip, just all these different franchises and characters that have been killed off by companies.
Somebody says R.I.P. my bank account. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm with you, bro. R.I.P. carbs. I will never say goodbye to carbs. You cannot make
Yeah.
me. It's not possible. Also, they were talking about, this is more gossip because I don't know if there's facts behind this, but they're saying Brie Larson is a nightmare and Marvel is in chaos with Blade and Mahershala Ali. But basically, they were just saying like she feels like she should be the star of her movie, and that's why it's been pushed back 2 or 3 times. I don't know if I buy that.
rumors include Brie Larson hated
Right.
her Endgame cast.
Well, there was those hilarious like stills, like everybody gets those bad clips of her like next to
They say she's
Chris
seeking a
Hemsworth.
new superhero role to
Right.
play.
Who would she play? Who could Brie Larson
No one,
play?
because that's what everyone wants is no one.
Well, she keeps threatening people with Star Wars too. She wants to play, she
Yeah.
wants to play a Jedi.
Yay.
I don't know what
Great.
character I could see her playing. Is there anything off the top of your head that you could think of?
Honestly, I have no clue.
Like maybe I would say maybe they could try her as Black Canary, but they would never do that because they've got Journey Smollett as Black Canary in the DC universe.
Yeah. I don't know, honestly.
I don't think it works.
Let's keep her to one character
Yeah.
that she's killed, and we can just move on.
And go back to playing
Right.
A Wrinkle in Time. Make a Wrinkle in Time Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It's like
Oh,
that
God.
meme of the Grim Reaper going from
Yeah.
like,
From
one
door
character to the
door,
next.
Yeah.
somebody could make that right now. It's like her with the scythe going from door to door. So, all right. So that and Mary has one more cringe of the day, believe it or not. This one I saw I saw this as a short as well. That is quite an outfit. Marky Mark is wearing
Can't stop
there.
showing his underwear.
Oh man.
Well, this designer got me a drip.
Like, why did he say that?
60.
Ooh. Wow. That part. Just that part.
Dude,
And
he's
I
like,
saw like people post this, and the caption is like me on the first day of school. All this design.
he's on his way to the pencil sharpener to show off his outfit.
I like Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah.
but he is definitely
He's quirky.
yeah, he's definitely quirky.
he's a perennial. He's like we talk about Seth Rogen. He's a forever teenager. Mark Wahlberg is just forever young.
This is gonna be me when I get the Astro Boy boots.
Yeah.
I feel like this was a bet with like one of his kids or something, or someone that he knows.
Makes other videos like
and
this.
he
I
lost
think.
the bet, and so.
Yeah. I like how he's in like a rich upscale neighborhood, like outside, like there's probably like rules by the homeowners association against filming videos in the streets.
Probably.
Like I guarantee you, because it's privately owned.
And he's like, no.
Who is
given.
recording?
Yeah, probably
is it?
probably his son, probably his
Probably.
kids. They were on their way to go to church, and he's like, maybe
This is
Ben
what he
is dead.
wears
He wears
to
this to
church. You think
Right.
so?
He goes to get communion, and he's just like,
Maybe
yeah.
this is like a Kim and North, where it's like his kid and him. They come up with these weird sketches, and then they put up the videos.
He's not quite the Kim level of social media
No,
expert yet, but
I mean, we're still sitting here watching.
But there are
it
other
and,
shorts
talking
I've
about
seen
it.
of him like where he's like showing off his fit.
I like the one that you showed me, the one where he's like advertising for what was that app called?
Wait, what?
The religious app where you
for Hallow?
Yeah, for like he would do like
pretty
ads
sure he's done
in the
advertising for
gym.
them, yeah.
Like he films like ads in the gym.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
he
don't
like
know about that,
He's
but-
like recorded I guess for Hallow they like have you record audiobook versions of like scripture that people listen to, like sleep stories, I
Yeah.
guess. But I guess he's a man of many talents.
so
In the chat, he says he doesn't even call him the priest father. He calls him Pop.
Oh no.
All right, guys, we're going to get right into it. So this first story is about as classic of a Hollywood story as you could possibly ever get. Grace Van Dien, she is in fact the daughter of Casper Van Dien from Starship Troopers. Fantastic movie if you've not already seen it. She was in Stranger Things and a bunch of other smaller productions. Maybe a Nepo baby, maybe not. But the idea here is that she has been propositioned by a producer in Hollywood to have a threesome, which has forced her to reconsider what she's doing, and she's moving to Twitch to focus more on a streaming career rather than an acting career.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just the idea of like in a Hollywood or non-Hollywood context, guy, like a grown man recruiting his girlfriend to go like proposition some other woman for a threesome is so cringy to me.
Can't even do it himself.
Yeah,
Like
it's kind of out there. The thing is that she didn't say exactly when it happened.
No.
But she's 26,
Yeah.
so, and we also don't.
Oh really? I thought
yeah,
she was younger.
No,
she's
she's- yeah,
26, so
Okay.
she's an adult. I mean, for quite a few
No,
years.
it's not creepy.
So,
it's just
right.
it's just
But I
Hollywood.
feel like a lot of
creepy.
people are like, "Oh my god, that's so creepy," because they view her as Chrissy from Stranger
Yeah.
Things, where she was playing a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
but she's 26. So,
She said the
there
last
is that.
few projects she's been on haven't been good experiences,
Right.
meaning like maybe there have been creepy pervs
Right,
on all of
maybe.
them, which I wouldn't doubt.
It's Hollywood. That's like
Well,
literally
that's the problem. Is it's Hollywood.
It's Hollywood. Like it's literally part of the entry process.
Unfortunately, this probably happens to a lot of actresses who are, well known and pretty.
Yep. I was and funny thing is you mentioned that her being 26 playing Chrissy is like I'm watching, like I said, between Buffy and Angel, and you see Charisma Carpenter, who was like in her mid-20s when she was playing like a 16-year-old.
Yep.
But she actually looks younger. Charisma Carpenter just looked like
Yeah.
like a 20-something-year-old lady playing a high schooler.
She looks like she's like 17 or 18.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with also Stranger Things is all of the older actors in season 4 were like 30, 25 to 30, and you could tell for a lot of them.
Is it sad that like we have to like give Hollywood credit that he asked permission at least and just got told no?
I guess it's
like literally they're so
Well,
awful that
I
it's like,
think
well,
that
at
the
least she
issue-
just asked.
The issue she was pointing out is that this producer hired a girl that he was sleeping with, who was then the woman that propositioned her, which is not appropriate in any
But
workplace
it's
outside
not
of
appropriate
Hollywood.
in any way, right?
Or yeah, but in Hollywood, this
Right.
is normalized.
Right.
So, I mean, if I were her, I would want to make a living on Twitch too.
I mean, good for her for moving to a different platform. I mean, I get why she moved to Twitch, because she's already kind of blown up there.
Yeah.
Because when Stranger Things season 4 happened and she was a part of it, she went on to TikTok because one of the sounds with her talking kind of blew up, and then she was like, "Oh, it's me," and then she started streaming. So good for her that, if she's uncomfortable, she's getting herself out of that situation. But unfortunately, yeah, this probably happens with a lot of actresses now.
Do you think part of it is going to be like eventually like Hollywood, like all the smart actresses will just go to like places where they can control who has
Independent social
access to them,
media.
and the only people left in Hollywood will be men?
Well,
Maybe.
it's interesting because people go to her Twitch streams to experience her actual personality.
Right.
Not
they don't view
a
her as
character.
Chrissy. Right,
Yeah.
which is great for her, but unfortunately that doesn't happen for a lot of actresses.
And how long can you like ride on the hype of playing one notable role?
Right.
Like you're gonna have to return to acting at some point if you're small time.
I mean, maybe like that depends. Like you could go like brand, like she could become
Yeah,
a
she
brand
could.
ambassador.
Unless you
for-
start in OF.
Yeah, well, that's
Right.
and that's really the other thing that I was going to mention is like those are the two avenues that they can go and control what
Right.
people see. We can argue all day about whether that's good for the culture or
Right.
not, but good for her bodily autonomy.
Yeah,
in
we've
that
actually-
she's not going to be attacked by a producer
Yeah.
if she's doing stuff on her own.
We've actually seen a couple of actresses do this. The last notable one was Chloe Moretz. She had basically made this tweet that, her gaming computer broke. And so, like, I don't
Henry
remember.
Cavill, go fix it.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly
Matchmaker.
what company did, but they sent her like a whole new setup and then she just started streaming. I think a lot of these actresses who, I don't want to say they're old because of course 26 isn't old, but they're getting older in the eyes of Hollywood,
Yeah.
are, transitioning to being independent, going on TikTok, onto Twitch.
Thank
and
you.
They are making their own content, which is great for them if that's what they want to do.
I don't even know if it's related to her age because
Right.
increasingly women in their 30s are getting major
Yeah,
roles
but
in Hollywood.
I still feel like Hollywood clearly has a type with actresses, especially ones that they kind of want to blow up like Grace. She does look younger, and she's very pretty, but I feel like actresses are maybe afraid, especially when you have Scarlett Johansson saying, I'm in my 30s and I'm losing roles. I mean, as a younger actress, I'd be pretty afraid, like, I'm going to hit 30 and then Hollywood's not going to want me anymore. If they don't want Scarlett Johansson, why are they going to want me?
Yeah.
Also, like, there's an implication in a producer, meaning like one of your bosses propositioning you that threatens your job on that project.
Because then they can start pushing rumors that you're not you're not easy to work with.
You're
Right.
difficult to work
You're
with. because
difficult
you didn't
to
sleep
work
with.
with.
Me
Yeah.
And this other girl that I hired.
Right.
It's also funny because just in any other job, that producer loses his job.
Right.
Like at most other jobs, like if you're not the
But
boss,
it almost feels like this behavior is incentivized
Yeah.
in Hollywood specifically.
Yeah.
So I just think there's going to be an interesting shift in how people. I really do think Hollywood will become the jumping off point for the more industrious actresses who want to make a living outside of. I mean, even actors. There are plenty of actors who have YouTube channels that do, and athletes that have YouTube channels that do very, very well. Obviously, the athletes are making hundreds of millions of dollars, so that's a drop in the bucket compared to what they make. With their contracts, but there's a couple of minor league baseball players that have turned like a brief stint in the pros into like a lot of knowledge that they can
Right.
turn into content that they can use to make very informative videos that
Yeah.
can grow large audiences.
Yeah.
And that could work for men and women. But I think the reason for men doing it will be a lot different than the reason for
Yeah.
women wanting to do it.
I just feel like a lot of the actors, actresses, just, people like we're talking about, even athletes, are afraid of being pushed out of an industry one day, and then
Yeah.
it's like you're on your own bye. So
Yeah.
they're, making their own platform.
Get a sense that Hollywood elites really resent anyone's ability to make a name for themselves without the support of the
Yes.
establishment. Of a
Comics is
big
the same way.
studio.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously it's the same way.
Comics does not want you to be able to succeed without the help of either DC, Marvel, or I guess IDW,
Or even just
somewhat.
having the
Right.
right like group of friends or associates.
Right. And clearly, many people have proven that wrong in comics.
And that's funny because that market is kind of stabilizing now. Like
Right.
people like when crowdfunding first came to fruition in its more popular iteration recently in recent years with Kickstarter and Indiegogo, there was like a gold rush of sorts early on, and now it's stabilized. So if you do it consistently and you develop an audience and people that will come back for your product, you can start to make reasonable guesses on what you're going to be making per comic
Right,
now,
right.
rather than before you didn't know. So a lot of these actresses and actors can be doing the same now too. They're like, look, I see somebody like this actress who's in a similar position to me. We have similar sensibilities. You have to kind of look at the blueprint. Like, look, how engaged is she on social media? How often does she stream? How much work goes into it? And what Hollywood wants is for you to have to, like, they're like, look, we'll do all of the grunt work. We'll take care of we'll give you all the infrastructure, but we take a majority of the profits, and we have an absurd amount of control and ability to ask you to do things that you may not want to do.
Also, another thing in Hollywood is makeup brands and skincare brands like Lady Gaga, Millie Bobby Brown.
Zendaya now.
Zendaya. They're all starting kind of their independent businesses that are blowing up because of their brand name. And then they don't even have to really make content besides maybe one small social media video a month. Independent kind of creators like Twitch streamers. Valkyrie specifically tried to make like a anti-blue light skincare brand that failed epically and people roasted her for it. But I mean, we're seeing it.
Anti-blue light.
Yeah, because like blue light from the computer screens and your gaming monitors are like killing your skin, even though there's no scientific proof behind it.
It's killing your eyes.
I love the hook. I love the hook. At least it's a clever
It's a nice
marketing
gimmick.
campaign.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she got really blasted for that, but that's because there wasn't a lot of science behind that kind of
cover yourself
skincare
in
line.
the yellow paint to block the blue light.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I don't know.
But she tried, and that didn't work, but I think that was more kind of science-based because that didn't have a lot of research behind it. But all these independents are trying to create their own products now, and for the women in Hollywood, it's like makeup and skincare.
Yeah.
It's funny too because WWE kind of got in on this too, where they wouldn't allow their talent to have like they basically like, you work for us, we take all the profits.
That happened with Paige, right? She
Yep.
tried to leave, and then they wouldn't let her do her Twitch
Yep.
streams and like YouTube streams and stuff.
While she was there.
Right.
Well, I mean, they also own, like, when they go to work there, they have to, like, their Twitter handle has to be like their ring name.
Yeah.
And then that forces, like, when they leave, they have to rebrand.
Yeah.
And a lot, like, the ones that are successful are the ones that were either had a name before they went there, so they can go back to whatever their ring name was before that. But a huge number of the wrestling community are big on Twitch, love video games, love streaming, love stuff like that. I don't know if that changed when Vince left, but, you know,
Even though it's rumored he's coming back now, and that he's just gonna retake over everything.
It's perfect too, because now it gives Triple H an out. Like, anytime he makes a bet, because people are like already like super paranoid. So anytime like he does something they don't like, they're like, Vince must be back. Like, he must be back. He must be in charge. Triple H would never have approved that. So he just gets to blame Vince for everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a big company that in a lot of ways screws you in a lot of the same ways that Hollywood does. Like, they're forced to be called they're independent contractors, even though they're not allowed to work anywhere else.
Right.
They obviously put strict regulations on your ability to make money outside of the company. You're still required to do all sorts of media appearances, and they don't give you health care.
Yeah.
So, like,
I personally tapped out of WWE when they fired. They got rid of CM Punk, and then they fired his wife on their wedding day. They sent her pink slip on her wedding day.
No, I thought it was his pink. Like, they gave him his final papers on their wedding.
Final papers on their wedding
that
day.
Was
that was so shitty.
Granted, I can't stand him. I find him to be insufferable. But yeah, that not good. But there's a whole history of WWE. Like, if that is the least bad thing that Vince and that company have ever done. Hint Jimmy Snuka and showing up to a police station with a briefcase.
Their whole history, they've done awful things, especially to their talent, like we're talking about.
Yeah. Like, the one, like, it's really funny because I got into a discussion with somebody about it. Like, the company, like, anybody that's ever worked for WWE has a blanket open door to go to any rehab facility, and they'll pay for it. And they're like, that's so nice of them. Like, it's a company. They don't know how to be nice. It's just good marketing.
Right. It's good PR.
Because they literally lived through the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, where literally there was no such thing as a wrestler that wasn't on drugs all the time.
Right.
Like, that wasn't a thing.
It's like the whole Ezra situation, right?
Yeah.
They're going to therapy, and they're going to rehab. They're not doing that because they want this person to get help. They're doing it because they have a movie that they have to put out.
Oh, I've got a really heartbreaking one for you. I was
What?
on Instagram the other day. I kid you not, there was an account that said like Ezra is my Flash,
What?
and it's like somebody who's like
Hashtag not my Flash.
like no like all they it's like a stan account for Ezra Miller, and I was like, maybe they just don't know what's going and like the
They
the top
know.
thing was like, it was like Ezra getting help, like see,
Oh,
he
Ezra's
wants to
getting
get
help.
better.
Yeah, they want to get better.
He wants-
and
oh, yeah,
they're-
they
they're
wanna get
trying
better.
Where is
Sorry.
the proof, though?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I was
They
like,
want to
man,
reinvent themselves and all this bull.
it
this
just
is why I feel like Me Too was a complete farce and was never aimed at striking fear into actual predators. It was just, picking sacrificial lambs
Yeah.
so that the actually dangerous, powerful people would stay in place.
Right.
Yep, and I mean, Vince McMahon got outed because of like 5 sexual that wasn't misconduct. It was
Right.
just he paid off women
Right,
because he
sleeping
had
with
affairs
women,
with
right.
them.
That's a lot different. Yeah.
It's but it's like when I was like only 5, I literally figured it would be like
Well,
in the hundreds.
The most recent 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the other ones are just like either like gone or like a statute of limitations has run out. So
Right.
like it's like literally like Vince McMahon is like the most like he is problematic. Like if you looked up problematic in a dictionary, it would be a picture of Vince McMahon in a lot of respects. So I got a kick out of that. I was like, well, it is kind of true that the only person who could bring him down is himself.
Right.
Like he was bigger than life, so the only person that's going to bring Vince down is Vince. So
Yeah.
do you think that this is the type of thing that will end up changing the type of person that gets into acting? So the thing that I was talking about with somebody earlier was back in the day, I always thought about it as actors like wanted to be in it for the craft, right?
Yeah.
But as Hollywood expands, there's too much content needing to be made, meaning that they don't just need really good actors now. They need whoever they can to fill roles. We're not just going to have people that are passionate about the craft of acting. It's going to be filled with people that just want to be famous.
Right.
Do you think that this type of thing will lead to more of those people moving more towards streaming? Or do you think that they're still going to come to acting looking to get their boost into streaming elsewhere? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, don't you think that in a lot of ways streaming requires more of the person? Because you have to be a self-starter.
Yeah.
You have to come up with your own ideas and grow your own audience. And
It's
not
harder.
just be talent, but also
Right.
like you have to like give yourself your own platform and then keep it up long
Right.
term. That's like harder in a lot of ways than being an establishment actor.
But that's what I say.
actress.
I feel like the starting as an establishment actor gives them the base level of notoriety that helps them build from there. Right?
Right.
Like a lot of times the hardest place is just to get out
They
of
get
that.
their branding.
Yeah.
They get that image
And
out
the-
into
But at the end of the day, you have to be an interesting person off screen,
Well,
and that doesn't
But that's the
describe a
thing.
lot
What
of
if they
them.
can just play their character really well?
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
can
Grace
play-
Van Dyne could have just went and played a Chrissy type character on Twitch, and people would be like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" It'd be like if Millie Bobby Brown played 11 on Twitch.
Ryan
That would
Reynolds
be-
is just Ryan Reynolds everywhere he goes.
Right.
So, like you
It's
just
like
end
The
up.
Rock. The
Yeah.
Rock is just The Rock.
I miss wrestling Rock when he was
Yeah,
actually
well,
like
He's dead.
edgy.
He's been replaced with a family-friendly Rock.
He's sexless
like a pebble
and
now.
yeah, sexless and boring is what he
Yeah.
is. So, all right, we got a couple of super chats there, Mary.
Okay, Sketch Therapy said more control equals more self-respect. Leave Hollywood.
In a lot of ways, I mean, like
I wouldn't say like being a Twitch e-girl is the most respectable line of work. It depends on how you do it. And a lot of ways that Twitch works, like incentivizes
Well, they could always go to
objectifying
YouTube.
yourself.
There's Kick now, but that's backed by gambling. There's like other ways to market themselves online. So, but yes, if they go to Twitch, then
Twitch, like, it-
clearly has an image.
Yeah, it clearly like incentivizes female streamers to basically take their clothes off, like
Right.
in order to get ahead.
it's also like it's just such the easiest thing to go to. Like for like it has to be hard for women to not want to just go there. If,
And it's just like in Hollywood how like some people will not work with you anymore if you refuse to do sex scenes or refuse to do like nudity in
Right.
certain movies or shows.
Right.
When like that's just the status quo now that you're expected to do that.
Right.
Did you see the story the other day about who is it that Susan Sarandon, like who is the lady from Basic Instinct? Who who like said she lost custody of her kids because of the scene in the
Sharon
movie.
Stone.
Sharon Stone said like she supposedly lost custody of her kids because of that scene where like the judge was like, your mommy does sex scenes. I was like, I'm gonna look for.
Do you know your mother makes sex movies?
Yeah.
And then I saw this tweet that I literally just sent to you. It said Sharon Stone said she was coerced into performing this infamous scene because she was told that wearing underwear was causing problems and her vulva would be hidden. She sought legal recourse after the screening and found none.
Rip the Volvo.
So much so that she did the sequel. Like, I actually buy a cinematographer being like, look, it just doesn't look right on screen.
Well, right.
Like, I buy that.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I do think that is not out of reach for someone in Hollywood.
Like, everyone knows. Or who was it we were talking about? The one where they had the kids that were naked on screen, and we talked about that.
Okay.
And they said, like, we need it because the shots don't look right with
Now
their
I
shirts
see what
on.
they said. She revealed in her book that she was told to take off her underwear while filming a scene because they were reflecting the light, but was reassured that nobody could see anything. She would later discover that this was not the case, and as she put in a former interview, people could see all the way to Nebraska.
And it's like, in an industry where they're literally paid to control the lighting and change things, that's just a lie.
Yeah.
And a bad one at that.
I don't know, like that seems like something you could sue for, but she didn't
change the color of the underwear then.
Just make them like skin colored. You're not gonna tell me that it's reflecting.
They do that all the time. They wear like the skin colored
just wear
thongs.
a different color.
Yeah.
I don't know. Poor lady. Disco Jensen said, Twitch is such a weird and polarized site. Getting a following big enough to actually turn a profit is slim. Too many streamers, not enough watchers.
Yeah,
I mean, true?
Every platform has its problems. I mean, there are obviously still many more viewers than there are streamers, but there are a lot of streamers. Just the way that the site has gone. I mean, people want to be able to make their own content.
And I do think that there's like a certain amount of like pull to the idea that within Hollywood, you're just part of the machine. And that takes a lot of the onus off you to have to be, you just do what they tell you and you're rewarded handsomely
Everyone's
for
got
it.
their own thing. Some people want to be just told you have to do A, B, and C today and you have to do it this way. But some people want to have their own platforms and think for themselves and just create the content and schedules they want.
I suppose that just goes to show more people, like those people would be employees and the other people would be the type of person that starts a business, and that's just an inherently different personality type. What was so funny? You were laughing at something.
Someone in the chat said, the underwear is blinding me with sun emojis. Mr. Waifu Taker said, pretty cool to hear some wrestling talk in the streams Vara's in. I used to be into wrestling myself until I got fed up with awful booking.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm not as much of a fan of watching it. I listen to wrestling podcasts regularly.
That's ugly.
No, I love it. I love it. No, Solid Monster Sounds Off is like one guy, so it's not like a round table. It's a once a week show, and sometimes I'll listen to like his pay-per-view recaps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Seth Essington said, please tell Corn Pop I'm sorry for blocking him.
Corn Pop.
We don't have direct communications with Corn Pop, but Corn Pop, if you're watching this, now you know. High Voltage 75 said, Brett screwed Brett, Vince McMahon.
Yes, that would be, that's it's an actual quote. He just wasn't talking about me. He was talking about Brett the Hitman Hart.
Isaac Martinez said, I hope you all are doing well and warm. Rain in LA.
All right. Well, it's not raining here. Oh, actually, no, it was raining here. Never mind.
It
was raining here. All right.
Country.
Let's hold off on the rest. We will come back, guys. So now we get to talk about Vara's favorite person in the entire world, Seth Rogen. Loves him, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Great guy.
So it says Seth Rogen slams critics for hurting many people with negative reviews.
Boo-hoo. Cry me a river and float upstream.
I said last time, like, people are mean to us all the time for free.
Yeah. Where's my money?
And we don't even make movies.
We don't even
we just talk about them.
Yeah, like if we have to, like, it is it's an unfortunate fact that in any creative endeavor, if you're going to open yourself up to be judged by the public because it's going to make you money, you have to also take in the negative stuff that comes with
You're
it.
a public figure.
And they're not even talking about, like, he's not even really just talking about, like, trolls. Remember, anybody that doesn't like you is a troll.
Yeah.
And anything I want is a human right. He's talking about critics who are invariably on their side most of the time.
Right.
These critics will bend over backwards to defend him most of the time. So if he can't even handle the critique from the people that are basically simps for him anyways, then he has got a rough life, I'm sure.
Yeah, this was on the Diary of a CEO podcast. Never heard of it.
I haven't either.
He said, I think if most critics knew how much it hurts the people that made the things they're writing about, they would second guess the way they write these things. It's devastating. I know people who have never recovered from it, honestly.
God.
A year, decades of being hurt by film reviews. It's very personal. It is devastating when you are being institutionally told that your personal expression was bad. And that's something that people carry with them literally their entire lives. And I get why. It effing sucks.
Look, I'm gonna share with you guys the YouTube comment that hurt my feelings the most. I think I've shared this in the stream before.
Crybaby Brett.
Basically, yeah. Okay, so it's never the ones that are like, this sucks, like this, you're an idiot. Like, okay, there was somebody who, I kid you not, said, Brett seems like a really nice person, but he's just not very good at this. And that shit kept me up for like,
deep cut.
for about like,
When they cushion
an hour
the blow,
to 2 hours, like a day.
when they recognize their humanity while slapping you in the face.
Like that bothered me for a little bit, but I was over it by the next day.
I get similar comments where someone will say, you seem really knowledged, but I can't take you seriously with your SJW hair. Okay.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not blue. Blue is SJW
But
hair.
it's bright colored.
Yeah. Like,
orange hasn't been co-opted yet. Blue, green, pink, all co-opted.
so it's like, look, you've chosen a career that puts you in the crosshairs of people who are going to judge you.
But he thinks that he is a tortured artist, and when people criticize him, it's different. It's more personal. But like, he's not recognizing that this isn't just art, it's also a product.
Right.
Yeah.
And, in a capitalist society, you need to like incentivize people to buy your products.
Well, one thing says like if they wanted to, they like we could just turn comments off, but that lowers engagement, and that means that people want to have their voice heard, right? So you have to understand that as somebody who's creating something, you have to open yourself up to be critiqued
The power
because for your own
imbalance
benefit.
is not recognized. That really pisses me off. Like when Amazon Studios makes Rings of Power, which is already, riding the coattails of a property that was popular before.
Right.
And they're presenting it to an audience and then, quite literally silencing reviews for 72 hours after the release of it. Silencing audience critique. They're not recognizing that there's an extreme power imbalance between someone who's just typing up a negative, like possibly negative or mixed review, and literally Jeff Bezos, or Jennifer Salke, or any of these executives. Like, you are acting like a victim when all of the power is in your hands.
And what's even more funny is that this article doesn't even mention it, but he said when he gets these negative criticisms, he will go to like a nice steakhouse or his beach house. I wish every time I got criticized and my feelings were a little bit hurt, I could go to my beach house. It just
with
proves
his wife
how
with their zero children.
Well, he just said he will go to his beach house. So it's like,
he leaves his wife at home.
Vacation, peace out. It's just like, really? You're not struggling. It's not like you just got a negative review and you lost your contract and now you don't know what you're going to do for a job. You are someone well known in Hollywood. You're going to get another project. So what? You wasted someone else's $50 million making a movie or a show.
Go get some exercise. Don't go to your beach house. Go play basketball or something.
So he specifically mentioned Green Hornet. He said for Green Hornet, the reviews were coming out and it was pretty bad. People hated it. People were taking joy in disliking it a lot. But it opened to like 35 million, which was the biggest opening weekend I'd ever been associated with at that point. It did pretty well. That's what's nice sometimes. You can grasp for some sense of success at times. The interview felt far more personal. Green Hornet felt like I'd fallen victim to a big fancy thing. That was not so much a creative failure on our parts, but a conceptual failure. The interview, people treated us like we creatively failed, and that sucked.
Look, I get what he's saying in a lot of ways. Like, most people, even critics, aren't really privy to all the steps that go into making a project like this. And in a lot of ways, when a movie fails, it fails, and all of that blame gets attributed to like one or two people. But if people like went through the movie making process and you understand the hundreds of thousands of decisions, the hundreds of employees, all the things that have to come together and go right just to get a movie out, let alone have it be good, it is kind of a miracle that more than one or two movies a year ends up good anyways. So it's like, I get it. Like, I get the like he feels like it's unfair. Like this
but the way
part
that
of it
he whines about it is the issue.
And he's the one whose name is on it. So you're taking the profits.
Yeah,
you're
being
risking
the face of it, you're taking a risk, yes, for your reputation, but you're also making way more money than any of the people who worked on it behind the scenes.
The set designer is making the same amount of money as you, but they're also not getting the blame when it goes wrong.
Right, exactly.
It's like Santa Inc. or now the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle situation. His name is front and center because he's a producer. He's one of the voice actors in the case of Santa Inc. and
And the Santa Inc. one is what I want to talk about. Look, okay, he is so unbelievably disingenuous and cruel. Like, nothing that he's made in the realm of Santa Inc. or even the tone of what we can glean from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's no joy in any of that. It's just cynicism and despair. So, you know what? Misery loves company, bro. You deserve it. Like, if you're gonna make me sit through your garbage, or even the fact that you're going to make this garbage like visible for other people to see that they can choose to watch, you deserve to at least be criticized for it. Right?
Yeah. I mean, not maybe you don't deserve to get criticized, but you need to just, like,
you deserve
grow
to get
up.
criticized.
You're an adult and like you're open for that when you put your art out there. I think it would actually convey more artistic integrity for someone who makes something to be unbothered by criticism than to be devastated by it, because that means less of your surface level ego is wrapped up in the project and it's more about the project itself for you, you know, not you.
It feels like back in the day, the egos that actors had allowed them to rise above this type of stuff. Now they have both the ego and they're so fragile that they can't take the criticism.
And the actual quality is lower.
Yeah, like so.
People would be happy to be a producer, a voice actor, and, you know, ultimately you're a public figure, so you're going to get criticized. Most people would be perfectly fine with taking some criticism if it meant you had this giant career and people knew who you were just by saying your name. Like, cry harder,
I feel
Seth
like even
Rogen.
politicians react this way.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
And I feel
like critics.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's really like.
My feelings. They just don't get it.
And I felt that way, like here, like when we do the show, right? It's like you have to remember that you're reaching a larger amount of people than you might on your own. So it's like, do you want to have that reach? Do you want to be able to make a show that people watch and enjoy? If so, you have to take the criticism and the critique that comes along with it. There was one the other day. I was like, I got something. I got the Donnie Yen. I got his. I said he was a 6th-degree black belt in judo, and I was wrong about that. I was like,
in like
he was
jujitsu.
He was a 6th degree. He was a 6th-degree black belt in taekwondo and a purple belt in jujitsu. And I was like,
oh my god!
But when you're in a conversation like that, you don't even.
How could you mess those up?
Yeah, like, well, no, but I actually did wrong. I went through and reread it, like, and it was like, so it's not like something where I misspoke. I objectively read it wrong, but the idea is like, look, you're gonna mess up.
Right.
Like,
that's just being a human.
and when they're making movies, they're making what, a couple, like one a year. They might do a TV show. They might executive produce a TV show that they're attached to. But like, if you're making content like we make and you're doing it 5 days a week, you're opening yourself up to a lot of critique all the time. And they're doing it for far less critique for far more money. So spare me if I don't cry a river or play the world's smallest violin for you.
And like, my goodwill requires it to be a reciprocal thing. Like, it has to be a two-way street. So if you're going to impose some moral imperative on me to watch and support what you make, which is unfair, then I'm going to be even more harsh when the thing you're making isn't worth my time.
Right.
Plus, isn't he the weirdo who was like sending people messages like, "Are you Jewish?"
Yes.
Like,
yes.
and got into a fight with like Gad
extremely
Saad.
unhinged on Twitter.
And
He's fought with Gina Carano and told her that he's gonna like drive to her house and like beat her up and stuff. Like he literally,
Seth Rogen needs some help.
Yeah, like he's majorly like unhinged online and needs help.
See, I think a lot of it's just like
huge
not
anger issues.
He hasn't learned how to separate himself. Like if you're reading something negative about you, put your phone down or your computer down and go do something something else.
It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
Again, especially for someone like Seth Rogen, whose career doesn't involve or revolve around being chronically online. He could just take a break.
They said the same. It's so funny. They did the same thing when the fantastic Ben Affleck was casted as Batman. The fantastic Batman.
I like him.
Me too. Like when he got cast as Batman, Warner Brothers said to him, they said, "Don't go online.
Right.
It's a bad idea." And they said the same thing to Halle Bailey when she got cast as the Little Mermaid. They're telling these actors and actresses now, like, look. And I agree with them. You're part of the machine. You don't need to care.
Right.
Like,
You don't.
just don't. But the thing is, for the younger actors, I don't think they'll be able to resist
Right,
because
they're on TikTok, they're on YouTube, they're on Twitter and Instagram. They live online a lot of the time.
they're not going to be able to get away from it.
That's how it works for them, right?
Yeah.
The older actors, yeah, I'm sure that most of them don't care. They don't check their Twitter daily, but some of them do. But
I'm with in the chat. Somebody says Gina would split Seth in two.
Oh yeah.
He would.
Yeah.
She would definitely
You know,
split Seth
what's
in two.
ironic is like she's the more powerful one, but also the more self-controlled. So she didn't respond with anger. She responded like, you know, any sane person would. But I wanted to mention this. Just I know this didn't like upset you as much, Brett, but like his comments about not wanting children.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna put the article up. This is an article from timcast.com if you've ever been there.
Yeah, by the Bertman.
The Bertman himself.
So people are calling Seth Rogen the Chelsea Handler of men. And he didn't do something as egregious as her. He didn't like try to make a skit about being child-free or anything. But in every way, he's now implied that he is, you know, at an advantage in his life and his career and his like personal character for not having a family. In this interview, this same one on Diary of a CEO, he says, you know, like I think I'm so much like smarter and better off for not doing this. I don't regret it. I think I've made the right choice. And it's not that he says, you know, other people shouldn't have kids. But he just says, like, in every way, my life is better off for not having children, and I enjoy it that I don't have children. And I think, like, you know, I, you know, have more freedom to, I guess, like, smoke weed and
go to his beach house when he gets bad reviews.
And, like, eat steaks.
See, if he had a kid, he wouldn't have time to worry about bad
And that's
reviews.
not the, like, be-all, end-all of fulfilling life. And I think that when you live a life so empty that's about consuming things, then that's why it's devastating to receive minor criticisms on your work.
To be fair, like, I don't know if I would want to subject a kid to being raised by Seth Rogen.
No,
God, no.
Yeah,
No.
like, I don't know. Like,
it's like he's demonizing having kids and having like a traditional family. And I mean, he's allowed to have his opinion. It's not like he's saying everyone else is awful for doing this, but when you're Seth Rogen and people are listening to you,
it's almost not, it's like more underhanded than demonizing traditional family. It's more like just making it into a laughing stock of sorts. Like,
you have kids.
Look at your chaotic,
really?
dirty, messy, gross, you know, like, it's just like uncurated life. You know, I don't know what he means by it other than disdain.
I feel like someone he knows pissed him off, and now he's just going into an interview and saying something that he knows would piss them off.
And he also says, like, everyone I know has kids.
Right.
And
it's like, and don't you think you're the odd one out?
Well,
right. That means you're,
that
are
doesn't
you like the
necessarily make
exception
him-
because
Right.
you're superior or because you're inferior?
Right.
I mean, I just took it as he's like, look, he's saying that, look, I've got plenty of examples of it. I'm not under the delusion. Like, he's not somebody that has no examples of people with kids and then decided that he didn't want to have them. He's seen plenty of his friends, people he trusts and knows that have them, and he made his decision that that's not for him. I don't personally see anything wrong with that.
Right, that's
and at this
ultimately
photo,
his decision.
I don't know if I was a kid, I would be wanting that guy.
No, it's his
Like-
decision, yes.
Yeah.
But I think that the way he said this, it's not explicit, but he's putting down those other people he knows.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, he's a celebrity. They're putting down everyone that isn't them in a lot of ways. Like I'm sure there's like he thinks less of the busboy who picks up his food. He thinks less of everyone, not just the people that
It's like James
have
Corden.
kids. I'm more annoyed by the people in comment sections on the videos about not having the any type of TikTok or Instagram video about that focuses around having or not having kids. The comment section's just a shit show full of people arguing about whether they should or shouldn't be having kids.
What I hate more is when people do have kids and make content about regretting it and disliking their children.
Oh,
That
that's
is such a
evil.
disgusting
Like, they're gonna find
thing
it one
to do.
day. You know that, right?
Right.
The internet is forever.
Like, all parents struggle and have a hard time at some point in you know, the phases of being a parent, because as a child grows up it's so different, but to put something like that online is just so awful.
He could also be one of those people that maybe one day he ends up having a kid and he's like, look, like it would be nice to see somebody have a kid and be like, look, I didn't expect it to mean
I was
as much to me
wrong.
as it did. I was wrong.
But he would
Like,
never admit that he's wrong, because that's just not who he is.
Yep. And he's like, maybe what he
Clearly.
did is like, he's like, I had a kid so he could read the negative comments for me. And like, I have my kid like screen my comments so that I don't have to look at the negative ones. Plus the next generation of kids are also more combative online. Like most kids these days who have grown up with negativity online have learned to like embrace the fire in a way more
cyberbullying
than
like isn't a thing anymore
It's
because
like-
all interactions online are toxic now.
like when you go into a discussion with someone in a comment section, you assume negativity in tone. It's why the internet is so awful, right? Like
because you'll only pipe up to disagree.
you could have the same discussion with someone around a table and it be perfectly pleasant. Those same exact words typed become a battle.
I don't
become a
know.
fight.
I think like sometimes if you have a pleasant conversation IRL, like in the meat space, and it seems to not be confrontational, it's because people are like
Thank you.
suppressing their disagreements, and I don't think that's always a good thing.
That's I actually had like an old like just recently had like, you know, when you get like the Instagram thing, it says like you posted this long ago, and it was something basically to that degree. It says if one thing the internet has taught me, it's like it's just how much like we suppress what we actually think when we're talking with someone because it's part of the social contract. But it's also because like you make a value judgment, right? Like you're talking to your friend and
Like
he
we're
says
trying
something
to enjoy dinner, and I'm not going to argue with you about Roe v. Wade
because it's not. But it doesn't even have to be something that's serious. But it's like
whatever,
it's
yeah,
not
anything,
the point of this discussion to disagree about what your views are on abortion. It's just not the point. If anything, your goal is to get people off that topic as quickly as possible because you're like, okay, like I'm trying to eat here. Could we talk about literally anything else? And the internet encourages you to disagree, whereas the social contract in the real world discourages it.
Right.
And that's fine. Like
Manners.
People
no
are
online
sublimating their
manners.
desire for conflict
Yeah.
into internet fighting.
But I also like when I see people fighting, like when people say those things in the real world and they start the fight, I just feel like they're doing it on purpose. Like they want to have the disagreement in the real world.
People like arguing.
That they like to
and like
fight.
confrontation.
They like to fight.
Especially online,
It
as
is.
we're
where there's
talking
less
about.
consequences and it's easier to dehumanize a person because you're not actually looking at, you don't get to see a manifested image of what they are as a human. You see some avatar or a picture you can barely discern.
Right.
And it's easier
If
to...
Seth Rogen were in the room right now,
Seth, you suck, we would say.
would we still yell at him and tell him that he's a whiny baby? Quite
Yeah.
possibly.
You probably, but like I would probably at the very least try to get like give him the most charitable.
I'd ask for more context.
Yeah, like I would try to get the most charitable definition of what he's talking about. But I'm also somebody that's not inherently combative.
Are the film critics in the room with us right now?
Can you see them? Are they here with us right now?
Yeah.
Like,
The lights flicker.
I would love to know who he's talking about. Like, who's a really bad film critic? That
Name
you can think of?
names.
That's
You
my
know?
problem with people in Hollywood is they're so afraid of losing that position they have. It's like if you had such a bad experience and someone like said something so awful to you, why wouldn't you call them out? Because you're afraid they're going to give your next movie like a bad review. Who cares? They probably would anyway if they don't like you then.
Yep. And it's not like he's exactly making a bunch of movies that Hollywood's gonna rail against.
Yeah.
I think at least he is not making this comment targeted at fans' opinions of his
Yeah,
movies, you know?
I still
he's
feel
talking
like
about the critic
secretly
class.
he might have meant like any kind of criticism.
criticism?
No, because he wouldn't call them fans; he'd call them trolls.
Right.
Like critics, at least get the benefit of the doubt and get called critics.
Well, back
They're
when it was Santa's
professionals.
Inc., it was we were white supremacists.
yes, that's how
Instead
dare
of
you
even trolls.
It's like, and nobody criticized the fact that a Jewish man was making a movie about a show about Santa.
Well, the critics didn't even review Santa Inc.
no, because it was
Right.
it was like
they,
a negative.
They didn't even
yeah.
right. If you go to Rotten Tomatoes, there's not even any critic reviews there.
I got-
they refused to touch that situation.
I got like negative. Like I got through one episode and I literally almost threw my remote through the TV. It was worse than Velma. That like
Yeah.
it was the vulgarity in Velma probably ended up being worse overall.
Yeah.
But there was just something. Maybe it's because Christmas is supposed to be inherently positive
Right, it's supposed
and
to be
full of
happy.
joy and happiness, and so the negative, clearly cynical, snarky tone felt even
Yes.
more
You
disingenuous.
didn't
and
think
mean.
that Violent Night
No,
was a little bit cynical?
not real. I mean, that's
Santa you know,
Inc. is supposed to-
puking alcohol.
I still
down
feel like
on the
they
city.
were different though.
Yeah.
They weren't supposed to be the same. Where
one is literally crapping
One
on
is
the tradition of
attacking,
Christmas
right,
and the
okay,
idea
Christmas.
of
To be
Santa.
fair, I haven't seen Santa Inc. and I probably won't.
No,
Yeah,
you would.
it was just crapping on the holiday and the people who celebrate it and kind of the idea.
It was
of
like after the whole
Christmas.
Starbucks cup controversy, right?
To be fair, like the characters in the family characters in Violent Night are a little bit like that. Like the crappy sister,
The
and
TikToker son.
the crap. Yeah, they're kind of a weird microcosm of what those characters in Santa Inc. all
D-list
represent.
actor,
Yeah.
brother-in-law.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we got some super chats there, Mary.
Christopher Gore said, "Every day is a living hell."
Yeah, he says that every stream of mine. Yep.
Every day is a living
Yep.
hell.
So true. EMC Squared said, "Brett, please always wear blue. Mary, stunning as always. Can I please have Vara's hair color?"
It's orange. Do you mean like the brands?
On some of the pictures, it looked red to me. Like when we met, I was like, oh, I thought it was red from the photos.
Yeah, me
that could
too,
have been my phone.
actually.
That could have been my phone's color temperature, though.
Lighting is very,
Yeah.
very it's very different with this hair.
Air-
That is
whatever
one
you're on.
negative, I will say.
And this room lights everything differently. Like it's really funny. You can turn like these off, and everything like looks. All the lighting changes.
I'm just
Yes.
like paper white when you did that.
Like all the color temperature and everything changes in the room. So it is what it is.
It's over 9,000 said, "Serge crushed it yesterday with the frostback joke. The only time I ever heard that was Carlos Mencia asking his audience, 'What do you call a Hispanic person living in Canada?'"
So
No, it's just
apparently
all Canadians.
It's all Canadians are frostbacks.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Like, and as a native Minnesotan, that makes me basically an honorary Canadian, which makes me frostback adjacent.
Tophone Man said, "Here's mummy."
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Disco Jensen said, "Seth Rogen is using the same current year tactic of attacking criticism instead of learning from it. A forever child, and his life of luxury is evident."
Not even necessarily the same, because I would think that if Hollywood was to consider anything actual valid criticism, they would talk about the ones from the anointed critics being the ones
Right.
actually worthy of critique. By the way, let's finish off the poll since we've gotten
what's it
here,
at? Almost
ladies
500?
and gentlemen. So we are ending the poll, and so far. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Seth Rogen is worse than other sus Hollywood
I feel
critics.
like it's because it's a name. So it's like
Could be.
all these other people,
Yeah.
but then a name.
With
Like, what if you had put Harvey Weinstein as the other option?
It's even funnier
He's
if
a sus
Seth
Hollywood
Rogen-
producer,
He's look, he just got 16 more years, so he's not coming.
never to be seen again.
never to be seen again.
Oh well.
Do you think that we
Anyway.
should do what we did yesterday with the 20?
Oh, Vera, here, you're gonna
Thank
love this.
you.
It's special.
heard this one. This is like the longest crisis sound I've ever heard in my life.
It's Edward Nygma when he admits to being Batman at the end of Batman Forever, which me and Vera agree is the most
and then
underrated.
right at the beginning in the vault.
Yep, the boiling. It's one of my.
No.
It's boiling.
And then he's like,
acid.
"Can I have your hearing aid?
Yeah.
Let me see that." Imagine if that happened in a movie today. Oh my god.
Me and Vera are both big stans for
Yes,
Batman Forever, which is a
it's
highly
good.
underrated
It's good,
movie.
and if you don't like it, you're wrong.
You're wrong. And
Sorry.
Dr. Chase Meridian is a smoke show in that
That's
movie.
what we need from entertainment.
Yep. Hot.
Strong, independent women like that.
Who have crushes on superheroes and
Yeah.
weird fetishes for Batman and his.
not?
I didn't even. The funny thing is all the evidence that ever gone to talking about bat nipples for like. Batman and Robin. I forgot that they were in Batman Forever
Yeah, when
too.
she touches his chest piece at the beginning and she like moans.
She's basically like assaulting him, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Cool."
He's just like, I don't do well with women.
Yeah,
He's like, oh.
it's oh man, everyone go it's on HBO Max. Go watch Batman Forever.
good.
When you get to like where superhero movies are now, again, I'm like one of the few people I didn't like the Batman. I thought it was too long and
liked the Batman.
I thought it was too self-indulgent and too long.
I wish there were more sparkles.
Mary would have liked more sparkles
Yeah,
too,
why not?
I'm sure.
Right.
He's got a brand at this point.
Jim Carrey was so good in that movie as the Riddler.
I don't know. I love Jim Carrey.
He's
I know
just-
that he's not everyone's cup of tea, but
As a person or as an actor?
as an actor, I don't really view actors as people. Let's be honest.
They're not. They're
Rightly
Let's
so.
be honest.
They're like communists. They're not people.
Yeah, I mean,
Just everyone go watch it. Plus, Val Kilmer has he almost has too good of a face to play Batman because he has such a defined jawline. I'm like, you can put this over his
I would
face.
say it was the prettiest Batman.
Yeah. But he puts the helmet on. I'm like, he's got like the most distinct jaw and nose in
It's
history. Like
crazy.
you can tell it's him right away.
Right.
You know it's
Yeah.
him.
Oh, and then they also in the movie had him wear the glasses, like the classic Clark move. Like, I'm wearing glasses, so no one will recognize me.
And the thing that people never point out is he goes to when Jim Carrey's playing the Riddler and Edward Nygma, he's got like the short pink hair, but then he's no longer the Riddler and he's got long coiffed hair.
Yeah.
And they don't really explain how his hair goes from short and spiky and pink. I mean,
Movies.
Doesn't matter. Don't ask.
like
Right.
the pink you can just dye, but it doesn't explain how it's like spiky and almost like a flat top to like long and perfect.
Someone said cocaine bat. I think that would be a really good Batman spinoff.
Or we could just have Batman go through drug rehab.
I mean,
Like,
wasn't that basically just the Batman? He always looked like he was like on a downer. Like,
I mean, well, that's Robert Pattinson.
yeah,
It's
he's just dark and moody and depressed.
he
so.
can't hide the British in him.
Is Ezra going to be
But
the next
it's funny
Batman
because
for
he's
Cocaine
actually
Bat?
kind of a goofy guy
Yeah, he
in
is.
real life. Steve Ryman said, Brett, you don't take your wife with you if you want peace and healing. If you ever have the misfortune to marry, you'll understand. That is all.
Yesterday, he would have sent that for $20 in a much
Yeah.
more vulgar message.
Well, I was going to ask, should we do what we did yesterday where if it's a $20 or more super chat, we read it immediately on stream instead of waiting?
Yeah, but you got to guess because Mary is not going to read everything that Kellen is willing to read.
Yeah, Kellen is willing to say anything.
How well do you know
I'm
Mary?
not.
How well do you know Mary?
It's like a gambling thing, like bet on whether I'll read it or not.
Mary just doesn't want someone to voice clip it.
I don't want to
and
get
then
clipped.
It happens.
Can't blame me. KM sent $2 without a message.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Johnny Beck sent us a thumbs up.
Read
Thank
one
you.
more and then we will move on.
Isaac Martinez said critics have nothing personal against anyone. Even Michael Bay takes the dislikes and moves on. Seth, a crybaby in Japanese adult diapers.
I love Michael
Specifically?
Bay. I love Michael Bay. I love his movies. I don't care if they're bad. They're fantastic. Look, I've been watching CB Strike and posting clips of stuff that I think is genuinely good and moving television and cinema. So it's not like I just don't like stuff like that. But as soon as I was done watching that, I put on Revenge of the Fallen and embraced the suck. Like, I don't care that it's bad. Like, there's like the first clip of Megan Fox basically straddling a motorcycle as she details it. I'm like, gee, I wonder why I like this. I have no idea.
Brett's got a type.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's not even a type. It's just like the universal hot chick.
Hot.
Right.
Yes. If by type you mean hot. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
All right, let's move on and we will save the rest. Guys, Facebook is in trouble. Take that, Zuckerberg.
Guys, we've got eldritch horrors beyond your imagination.
They never stop coming, do they?
It never stops.
So it says Facebook allowed hundreds of sexual deepfake ads featuring Emma Watson and Scarlett Johansson to run on the platform. They should do more quality control checks at these companies. Not hard to believe, especially when you think about what were we talking about recently that also had something like this happen. We've had a couple of deepfake things recently. We talked one about the voice of various actors that are now being deepfaked and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about Keanu Reeves saying he's not allowing any CGI being done to his person.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then
Because he said they edited
Yeah.
a tear rolling down his cheek in one of the scenes that he did.
He's
and
like, I
was
didn't cry in that scene.
That's like not only changing the scene, but it's changing my acting
Right,
skills.
right.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't think that I can act the part, then why am I even here?
Right.
I kind of like that. He's like, no, I can do it. Like, I don't need you to fake it. Like, it's like the definition of like, we'll fix it in post. He's like, we're not fixing it in post. We're going to do this right here, right now.
So the example they provided from this ad campaign is one that looks exactly like Emma Watson in a wedding gown.
It's
And it
so
looks
creepy.
like some like creepy, wedding night, like sexually suggestive video.
Can we play? It's not sexual. Can we play it?
No,
Or-
it's not. It's not sexual in nature, like explicitly, and we can play it just to
I'll
show
play
you
the
guys.
15-second clip here. I guess some type of like content warning, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
I guess. So here we go. Is there music or is it? Does it? I don't remember if there's.
There's no
There's no
music.
audio. Okay.
But on the ad with sound, they had the Pornhub intro music play.
Of course.
Right.
So it just says you can
It's just
swap
so
any face
weird.
into the video, not just celebrities.
Oh God.
And this was on YouTube Shorts. So this ad was running on Google. It was running on
Yeah.
Facebook
Yeah.
platforms as well.
No platform took it down.
And it was also running on some apps that are run by other parent companies that are made for children. One person said that they, I think the original person who posted about this, they were using some like sticker app that you like edit the background of photos with it. And it says it's for ages 12 plus. And then another person in the replies said they saw the same ad on a dress up doll app for children that is ages 9 and up.
Creepy.
That's where these ads are playing.
Right.
And I'm just like, what is your target demo then?
Yeah.
What are the kids
This is
using? Like,
creepy
what are
as
the
hell.
kids using it for? Is
Right.
it like you mentioned earlier, like people would swap their faces to movie scenes. That was a thing for a while.
Yeah.
Is that like the?
And
is
you
that
don't
what-
want your face in a database for that.
Also, let's face it, it is kind of just a perfect sign of like the culture that people just want to see their faces reflected back at them.
Yeah.
So they want to just like, oh, I don't want to like imagine what somebody else looks like doing this. Like we were talking about eventually.
Yeah. What if I did it? It's
Yeah,
like interactive.
We've talked about how like movies will one day just be like basically choose your own adventure and you'll be able to put yourself,
Yeah.
you'll be the star of every movie. So every movie will be 3D and every movie you'll just watch the same movie in a theater with a bunch of other people, but everybody will be watching it as if they themselves were the lead of the film.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a
creepy.
nightmarish world we're going towards.
Yeah.
Is there a way to stop? I mean, you can't. It's kind of like in Dollhouse when they talk about how you can't undo the technology once it's been
It
created.
reminds me of a couple of weeks ago how there was that Twitch situation where a Twitch streamer was caught with like a Pornhub tab open and it was of another
yeah.
streamer and it was like Pokimane and Cutie Cinderella and all their faces were deep faked.
and he was like, I was just
In
doing
his
research.
apology video, his wife
Yeah,
is sitting with
yeah.
him.
That was the weird
Well,
part.
that's what
That's
happens
the
when you're
worst.
such like a politically correct, clean streamer. Like if that happened to another like questionable streamer, they'd be like, I clicked an ad, and then they'd move on.
Yeah.
But he
Or
like,
they would be like, I was doing it to like bait
Right,
you guys, you know.
right.
Like they would
But-
just claim it was on purpose.
I mean, he full on admitted, I was looking at it or whatever, and with his wife sitting
He's
there.
like, I was doing a bunch of research.
Yeah.
I do a lot of research. I was
crying
like, yes.
like a kid that got caught. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It was-
awful.
It's like,
Yeah.
yes, I was like I said,
So
hey,
cringy.
early, like when we were making the thumbnail for this, I typed in Scarlett Johansson deepfake, and then immediately back, I'm like, what? No.
on 4K.
So I think it said there were like 174 ads that they saw featuring
Yeah.
Emma Watson, and then 70 something that featured Scarlett Johansson. But there are other celebrity faces you can use as well. But you can literally use the face of somebody you know, and that's
Right.
where the real risk
That's-
comes in.
Revenge porn will eventually become a
Mexico
thing.
already outlawed this, actually, as part of their revenge porn law.
Can't get rid of the cartels, but they're more moral and decent than we are, apparently.
Guess so.
But I guess like when Hollywood already puts all explicit sexual scenes on the table and like all nudity is on the table,
Yeah.
nothing is off limits, nothing is too explicit to be in mainstream entertainment now, the lines are blurring, and like, does it really matter anymore? Like, are there any boundaries to be crossed anymore?
I don't know. Like I it's weird because for a lot of it is like it feels like for the streamers they're going to be able to deny it, right? And they're like,
Right.
it doesn't fit my brand, but
Right.
it still hurts them. Like it still has to be painful to see. I remember it wasn't Pokimane that responded, but
was Cutie Cinderella.
She responded,
Yeah.
and she was very upset by it,
Right,
rightfully so.
Right, because
And-
even if it wasn't her body, it was still her face, and people were still saying, "Well, it could be real." Or what if she put it out there? What if she
Yeah.
signed for this and like it was a publicity stunt?
And like the joke I made earlier, I says like, what one of these people will do is like they'll just do they'll just be able to do a bunch of really bad things.
Right.
As long as one fake one has been made, they'll just blame everything
say,
on
right,
the
it's fake.
deepfakes. They'll
Right.
just say,
Yeah.
"Oh, what do you mean you're?" And then just start gaslighting
That's
the crap
another
out of
giant
people.
problem.
So I think that they found out, like, people looked into this, and the app costs $8 per week. So it only costs $8 to like cost someone their job or cost someone like
Right.
their social
Bargain.
fabric.
Yep. Or is the idea that eventually the social fabric will just get coarsened so badly that it won't matter? That everything will be
Maybe.
bad.
I don't
And-
see a way that this is going to be kind of countered, and like your boss, like at your corporate job, won't be able to tell the difference, so you might get fired over
Everyone
it.
will have to learn to be like experts in metadata and like how like, well, see, this is very clearly
is
an edited video. It's like,
Right.
or like maybe they can only sell them with like watermarks on there, but then you could just put the watermark on the real video. Like, how do you?
people-
Yeah.
There isn't a way to fix it.
Right.
People looked into the developer of this app and the parent company. It's either Chinese parent company called Wondershare, or it's a different one from Singapore, but I wasn't able to tell.
Do you think this type of stuff bothers the Scarlett Johansson, or do you think she's just so like she expects it at this point?
I feel like she doesn't really care.
Have you ever seen that old like that GIF, the picture of her like where she's at like a red carpet and just basically like a guy squeezes her boobs, and like she's like,
Yeah, but now she's talking about
Yeah.
objectification.
yeah, like that was in like 2000, and it was like at like the Iron
Yeah.
Man 2 premiere or something
Yeah.
like that, and she's like, ha.
I mean, did she like invite him to do that? Like, I saw the clip
Yeah.
and it was ambiguous what was happening there.
I'm assuming he was invited to do it, but
Because if he just did it out of nowhere and she laughed, like,
she's like, it's Hollywood. Oh well, like
Right.
worse things have happened to me.
Like we were
Had-
talking about earlier
Yeah.
with the way that actresses are sometimes treated.
Yeah.
Probably more
Yeah.
often than not.
like, I'm not saying that's right if that happened to her and she didn't want
yeah,
it
no.
to happen, but also, you know, you need to hold higher standards.
Yep.
Yeah.
But she was in the height of her beauty and her fame, and it's just, and also it's possible she didn't care, and she's just
Right.
not. It doesn't bother her. But the
Right.
problem is then when you come back later and suddenly you retroactively care.
Well, I feel like that's maybe why she wouldn't care now if like her face was deep faked, because go back a decade, there were people editing her picture onto still
Yeah.
images anyway. So like she's already gone through this. It's just slightly different. While yes, it is a video
Yeah.
of those acts happening, like her face has already been photoshopped onto so many things. She's probably like it's just another case scenario.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like for celebrities, I think celebrities, it's the most obvious route, but this is going to become a problem for everyday women.
People going to the office and someone getting mad at them and then that happening.
And there's evil people who would do stuff like that.
yeah.
There's absolutely
Definitely.
like everyone has probably worked with someone that they can imagine would do something awful like this. Like, yeah, like that's a thing.
Yeah, if they'll be reduced to it. Mm-hmm.
Like all it takes is one woman rejecting a guy at the office who can't take rejection,
Right.
and makes something like this and prints a picture and posts it, and then like when he's like, and then when she complains or cries, she's like, whoa, it's not real. What are you so angry about? And then just gaslights her because he's a piece of crap.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't like when that was the response about the Twitch streamers either.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, if it happened to you, it would be different.
Right.
That's the simple fact. I'm more worried about the risks this poses for normal people than for people like Emma Watson or Scarlett Johansson who are already in the public eye.
Yeah.
I know Moist Critical, so there's already been deep fakes of him.
A lot of the larger streamers have said that, like, I don't care, but there's already deep fakes of me. I feel like the men in the space versus the women definitely view it differently. The men just don't care because they're like, you think I'm really gonna do that?
Yeah. Well, plus also their physicality isn't commodified the same way, and it would be easier to if it happens to the guy, it's a scandal, but not to the same level of what would happen
to guys. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's like what Pamela Anderson said back when the sex tape happened. She's like, for him, he was a rock star, so it was awesome for him, but for me, it was heartbreaking because that was my image.
Yeah.
Right.
But to be fair, she monetized it heavily and turned it to her advantage.
Well,
but she had to.
Even though
she had to.
Right. She didn't have a choice to release it.
If anything, she did the best. She made the best of a bad situation by doing that. But that doesn't mean she deserved to be put in that situation.
You deserve to have, that decision made on your own time if that's what you want to do.
Oh man, like it's so funny too because now we've seen that story about how now Paris Hilton says, like, I had to take Quaaludes to make this sex tape. And one of the things that I thought was funny is I've seen so many TV shows that have, like, their own versions of, like, in-character divas or, like, socialites who act that way. And in the shows, they behave that way because that's just how they were portrayed in the real world isn't how they actually were. So how Paris Hilton actually felt about it isn't the same as how she portrayed it to the public. But now the next generation of people take it as a way to behave because they don't know that that's not what she actually wanted. Right? It's messed up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of all of this speaks to a general coarsening of the culture, and I do worry for the women of society having to worry about this type of thing in a way that men just aren't going to have the same. Famous women will not have will have a harder time dealing with this than men would.
Yeah, definitely.
I just don't see how you can monetize actually sexualizing yourself when people will do it before you make the decision yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what value is there in starting an OnlyFans if someone could just make a fake OnlyFans of you?
I think it's just because they know it's really you, so
but
it's
how
psychological.
That blue check means more.
Yeah.
At this point, how do they know? And could someone
and then
start
like,
an OnlyFans of themselves,
free.
make deepfakes of themselves, and put that on the OnlyFans so that they didn't have to actually do anything?
That's also true.
Like, is that...
Damn.
Is that coming in the future?
That's a business idea right there.
Genius.
I mean, I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of it, but I don't know if anyone has done it.
Yeah. I mean, we probably won't know. That's the thing, because they wouldn't want to just straight up admit, oh yeah, you're paying for videos of me that are fake.
Even the more cynical versions, like they have something they have to release and they don't have time to make it, so they just make it with AI. Like they don't even have a problem with doing it. They just literally don't have the time that day, so they do it with AI. Like that's how damaged our world is in becoming. Like it's getting worse.
Especially with like the function on OF where it's like a special request video, like bark like a dog or whatever. You could literally put that into an AI engine in the future.
My apartment doesn't allow me to bark loudly. We can't have animals here, so I don't want to get complaints. So I'll have the AI do that. Look, it's like, and to be a female celebrity in a lot of ways, when I think about it, like you have to now think about this stuff when you choose to go work for these studios or even become a streamer.
Yeah.
You need to be honest with yourself about whether this is something you're going to want to deal with. Right?
Definitely.
It's no longer something you can just ignore.
Right.
It's going to become like, look, how much do I value my privacy? How much do I value my modesty, real or fake?
Or fake, right.
Or fake. Like, because your modesty is no longer left up to your own design.
Yeah, that's why I hate this framing where like sexualizing yourself and objectifying yourself is okay just because it's on your terms.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer on your terms, and it really honestly never was. That was just an excuse that people used to, make peace with it in their minds.
Yeah.
When in reality, like, it does bother them. Like, I don't believe that I'm making $350K a month off of an OF still gives you, like, peace at night.
Even if you're not doing nudes, even if you're just doing, I guess lewd or like lingerie, and like there are women that do that without doing naked photos
for that much money.
I mean, isn't that what Bella Thorne? Bella Thorne wasn't doing full nudes.
It incentivizes going further.
Bella Thorne didn't do full nudes,
but she also was a former child star, which is why people wanted to see her sexualized.
And then who's the other one that we talked about recently? There was another one we talked about recently that it wasn't Bella Thorne, but it was no, because it wouldn't matter because it would have been somebody in the same market. It was like they go from Disney. The Maitland Ward went to porn from after being on Boy Meets World, and said like the number one request she gets on her page is like stuff from Boy Meets World. I'm like, we are so screwed. We are screwed. Like it's crazy, but these like in a lot of ways these women are the ultimate capitalists. Yeah. They've found a very cynical market, but a very strong market, and they're making a lot of money off of it. But a lot of times at the expense of what you would say their own soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I don't know. All right, we got some super chats.
Creative Juice said, "Mary, what is your go-to non-meat meal for Lent?" Well, before in like my Lent
your Mark Wahlberg 40-day challenge.
My Mark Wahlberg 40-day challenge plan was to eat only meat. Mm-hmm. And it was so bad that I amended my plan, and I went to the other extreme, and I'm not eating meat at all during Lent. But I don't know. Right now, I've been like weirdly curious about Long John Silver's for a while.
Ugh.
What?
Nobody
like, I've
ever
never gone there.
Out of all of the places,
I've never gone there, and I
There's
just
a
want to
reason
know
for
what's
that.
going
Hey,
on.
I've never been there either.
I want to know.
Like literally, there's a Long John Silver's out here, and it just like you drive by it, and it's just a pit of sadness and despair.
But people
Mary
go
vlog?
there; they must like it.
It's
We need
I
a
was
Mary
thinking of
vlog
trying.
going to Long John Silver's.
And then also, I didn't know this either, but Popeyes has seafood too, because it's
do?
like Cajun, like Louisiana Kitchen.
These
has
are some good
like,
ideas.
Yeah, but also there's the fillet of fish, which I haven't tried either.
Ugh.
So I could just like
God, don't do that.
try all of these at once. But anyway, my go-to
Food.
non-meat meal. I don't know. Maybe Taco Bell.
all I do, like, it's literally like I was thinking about it recently. I was like, I couldn't give up carbs. I will, like, there was this amazing scene in this episode from Angel where Cordelia goes, I will die before giving up this apartment because the apartment's haunted. And she's just literally, she's like,
No, because it's rent controlled.
yeah, she goes, it's rent controlled. She goes, it's perfect. It's rent controlled. He goes, it's haunted. And I was like, I would die before giving up carbs. Because she goes, I will die before giving up this apartment. I will die before giving up carbs. Sorry, not doing it.
Everyone in chat now is talking about seafood and what your plans should be.
Well, are there other options? Do they know?
Somebody says that Long John Silver's used to be okay, but it's trash now. To me, it's
What
not,
do you mean? It
it's
didn't
not even about.
change.
It's not about the food. It's about the presentation. Like, it just doesn't look very well put together.
The branding is
Yes.
off-putting.
It doesn't look clean.
Okay, my real answer is sushi, but I have sushi all the time anyway.
Sushi's good.
Yeah. Rhaegar Targaryen said, Jimmy Kimmel, the moral conscience of America, is hosting the Oscars. You already know it's going to be cringe. Also, I like the guest. Have her again.
This is my second time on.
Second time.
Yeah.
It's in, I said 3 months exactly.
Is this going to become like a
The
tradition?
next 3 months.
Every
Yeah,
3
every
months.
3
Well,
months.
it's like, I guess the 10th. It's like every time
Yeah.
an episode falls, a Friday the 10th, the Vara signal goes up.
Yeah.
Nazca said, that ain't hair, that's hair. Have Lore Lodge on.
Well, then read the next one. The next one's important.
Then the Lore Lodge said, hey guys, been told I was suggested as a guest for the show by my viewers. Just letting y'all know I'd love to come on if you're interested.
Yes, we will reach out.
We are interested.
We will reach out.
Love how things work out.
Perfect.
The chat is just making plans for us. Bobcat said, "Hey guys, please send a memo to whoever to invite the Lore Lodge on."
This is
They
kismet.
got the memo, so yeah. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. said, "One thing I've noticed in the comment section is when I write something positive, besides Yas Queen, I get more engagement. Maybe because folks expect bad."
Expect bad. Look, everyone. Why is it that people are more willing to engage with negativity? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think because in positivity, there's nothing
It's like,
to go
yeah.
back and forth
Yeah.
on. And so negativity, it's like, oh, well, my opinion is different than yours, so we can argue.
And that's what makes people so mad when you
Right.
don't engage with them from their negativity. Like, the best way to beat negativity, like if somebody's saying negative stuff to you on social media or something like that, is to just not engage, because they don't really care what you respond anyways. They just want to get a response out of you.
Right.
Let's hold off on the rest and we will come back.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're moving on. So, James Gunn, who is now the head of things over there at DC, he's not quite done with Marvel yet. And as usual, even though he's got endless amounts of things to do, he's got like 5 years worth of movies to plan, he's too busy arguing with people on the internet.
He's literally addicted to arguing with the fans
He is.
specifically. Not just journalists, but just randos. Like, he'll find any rando on Twitter that could possibly be a bot.
It's like Gun Hater 1212, and he's like, "Listen here, Gun Hater
I'm
12."
gonna school you on the facts.
It's like, "I don't like James Gunn too," and he's like, "Look in here, I don't like James Gunn too. This is a problem."
So
Okay.
he posts this like little teaser on Instagram for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and he says, "Can't wait for you all to meet this guy playing High Evolutionary." And someone commented the following: "Damn it, another white guy they made into a black guy. Why couldn't they just leave him white, or I don't know, pick a different minority? How about Asian, or gasp, a Latino? How many Latinos and Asians in MCU? Like a total of 5?
How many are there
Or make
now?
him Indian or something, because they don't and won't. That makes them woke. Next time a major character, hero or villain, will be a trans or homosexual or non-binary, when in comics they are not. Sad and pathetic. They're picking based on race and what's PC, and not on acting and what's established." And I can't believe that James Gunn decided to get scrappy with this anon.
I want you to think about something. Like, this is a dude who's a multi-millionaire studio executive. His time is literally money. He's like,
fun.
I'm picturing this. He's like, he's got his computer, his emails are open, and he's looking at this. He's like, "Not on my watch." And he just starts typing his response like this. And I'm just like, you're wasting...
he's also roping this actor into a controversy
That he doesn't want to be.
that he didn't
Right.
ask for.
Which is a
he
major
posts a picture
problem.
of I'm trying to pronounce this right. Chukwudi Iwuji.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I don't know how to
He
pronounce
posted
it.
this picture of him and wants to, get into an argument with people about race swapping characters when this actor didn't ask to be involved
no.
in it, Like, he's just doing his job. So he responds, "I chose the best actor, period, and the best person for the role. I don't give a shit what ethnicity he is, so stop with your racist presumptions on why he was chosen. And by the way, he's playing a guy who is almost always purple in the color."
First of all, he's lying about one thing, and that's that he didn't think about the color, because the
Right, of
studio,
course,
the
of
studio,
course.
at
Like,
the,
even if James Gunn
had
doesn't
no
give
choice,
a shit,
the
other
studio
people give a
does.
shit.
Right.
Marvel has already said that by 2020, whatever, 50%
Right.
of the people that they're casting will be of underrepresented
And that means they
communities.
have to be actively
Really
thinking
about
about these decisions.
But it gives them the out to be like, we're both somehow not
Right.
thinking about it, but we're also thinking about it at the same time.
It's like when
Which-
someone tells you not to think about something, you're
Yeah.
going to think about it.
And it annoys me the most, because it's like, I'm the person who's like, look, they race swap characters. Most of the time, I don't care. As long as the actor isn't talking about it endlessly and it doesn't become part of the character that's on screen.
Right.
And as long as that character's not talking about race in a time when it doesn't matter,
that's
I don't
literally
care.
the case
but they're
every
making it
time.
matter.
yeah,
And
but
it's,
that's the problem.
yeah. And like,
If they just did it and didn't say anything and just moved on, a lot of people would not care.
like people get mad at me, but I'm like, I wouldn't care if James Bond is black as long as they suddenly don't make it him like not a member of the landed gentry and and make it so he was a kid who grew up on the streets rather than a kid who was an orphan that went to work for the government.
Right.
Right? Like, they could change it and I wouldn't necessarily care as long as it doesn't become super important or they take time away from the story. But they're not allowing that to happen. Like you said, Mary, it's part of the characters now. And even if it's not part of the characters in the story, they use it to virtue signal in these articles, and it's infuriating.
Yep. And now James Gunn gets to look like the anti-racist good guy, even though he's just addicted to online drama. Whether it's about him or some other, political issue, he just wants to fight.
Yeah. He loves it. He loves it. He's got a hot wife. Like his
what are you
wife,
doing, man?
His wife is smoking hot. Like, go home to your wife, dude. You don't need to argue with the South will rise again 1212 on Twitter.
He thinks it's fun, I guess. I mean, why else would he be doing this? I mean, he's already got a big image. It's not like people don't know who he is.
Yep. And it also bothers me because now remember, I am now the official. I've taken up the cause for redheads. I am the redhead. I've found my activism. I am here to be an activist on behalf of all redheads. And as I see them erased more and more,
that's why I'm saying the race swapping should bother you, because when they change a ginger character to not a ginger anymore. They're not just changing the hair color. They always change the race.
The ginger side.
It's a racial thing, and it's specifically an anti-white thing, and I'm not going to act like it's not just to go along and get along. They're the ones that start these controversies. They want the outrage.
It's also funny because this is something that Zach, from Comics Matter, would always say. He's like, in Hollywood, there's two races, white and black. They don't ever change it to anything else.
Is that why that person in the comment was so mad they didn't choose a different minority?
I mean, it could just be a general perspective that person has, but that's something he would always say. He goes, if you looked at America, if you were somebody from outside the U.S. and you looked at our movies, you would think that this country was exactly by movies now it'd be 60% black and 40% white.
Well, that's not always true. I mean, they race swapped Peter Pan with some mestizo
It's not even out yet, and they're shoving that one off onto Disney Plus. So they're not even putting that one in theaters. But they're not
they're
not doing that to the Little Mermaid.
Tinkerbell actress is like half Iranian.
Yeah, they have no confidence in that film. I don't think.
No,
it's but for these things, it's like they expect the outrage, but a lot of times, what I wanted to mention was look, back in the day when superhero movies first started coming out, they wouldn't do this a lot of times. What they'd do is they'd invent new characters for them, and then people would get annoyed that there were new characters in these movies that weren't comic book accurate because they weren't in the comics.
Right.
But now I think is the golden time where people are so jaded about all this, they would welcome them just making new characters that don't have John Diggle in Arrow became an extremely popular character because he wasn't a race swapped character from something else. He was just a new character that they created for that show. And they actually then incorporated him into the comics after the fact.
I would rather see new characters than these, different versions of these characters that we know and love.
Yeah. I think Zaslav needs to put the kibosh on this when he starts working for DC full time. He needs to be it literally needs to be a scene from a family drama where the dad goes into his office, but it's his bedroom, and just takes his phone away. He's like, no phone after 5. Or he's like,
but
get all your emails done, get all your casting done, then you can have your phone back.
I think he's been equally combative with DC fans already on Twitter.
No, he's just
searches,
more so DC.
It's almost like he name searches himself just to get into shit with people.
It's really weird.
Don't you have
why
things
else
to do
would
with
he
your
see
day?
this comment? Why else would all of these, Hollywood executives that occasionally respond, why would they see these unless they were looking for them?
Yeah, and he doesn't respond to positivity. So
Well, I mean, to be fair, what is he supposed to say to the police? I am pretty great, aren't I?
Sure.
I my favorite. I love that Elon responds to random stuff. Elon is one of my favorite people on Twitter because he's another person. Where does he find the time in the day?
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I feel like it's their assistants that are just I know how you generally type, so I'm just gonna respond to some people.
But he's like a memer.
It introduces so much liability though. If he responds to a tweet about January 6th, and he's like, whoa. whoa, I think the public was misled about this. That cannot be an intern.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't tweet that from Elon's account.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty funny if they do. Like, he's just got like a super based intern that just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's just like, it's like, you know, I love my job,
Would
but
he even care? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like he's tweeted some unhinged stuff in the past, so would he care?
or like anytime it's news, he's like concerning.
Yeah.
Concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tweets that a lot. He goes, or like when he's like he gives like random updates on Twitter at like 3 a.m. about like changes that are coming to Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when does this guy sleep?
Right.
James
Like,
Gunn
what are you
can't.
doing?
James Gunn can't sleep because he's too busy arguing with people on Twitter.
And not only that, it's like he wants other people to start arguments that don't involve him as well.
Yep.
Like one of these comments said, only 16% of the world's population is white. Why do they believe that everything has to be about them or it's woke? What needs to happen is they need to wake up and realize it's not about them. Like as if white people are in the comments.
But it's also Western entertainment, so
Like,
we're not
saying
16% of the
this has to
population
be about
in the
them.
West.
I mean, if it's true that, you know, we're arguing about the race of an alien, then that's not even the argument we're having. It's like, and also like, you know, white people did, you know, kind of invent and spearhead all of Hollywood. So that's why the output of Hollywood is mostly white people.
Did you see the backtracking on all the April O'Neil stuff where it's like first they're like she's not white, she was not white to start, and then they're like, oh, she was Asian, oh, she wasn't Asian, oh, she was mixed, oh, why do you care so much? Why do you care so much, you incel?
Right. It turns into why do you care so much? Then why was she changed?
Yeah, like they always backtrack back to where they were before, but I love the backtracking. They're like, because they're like basing it off black and white photos in the first issue when Baxter Stockman is clearly right next to her, being very clearly African American, even in that image. But then in the second issue, which is a color print, she's very clearly not a minority, but they have to argue about it because they can't stand. It's like they have to have their opinion heard about stuff like this, and it's infuriating. And for stuff like this, look, I think he would do himself well to just not argue with people. He's part of properties that don't need this type of marketing.
It's just like,
I don't mean
with
like
Seth Rogen, like why do you take it so personally?
Yeah, but not even don't need this type of marketing saying that like it's going to hurt it. I'm saying that like these properties are big enough on their own that they don't need an additional boost from his crap talking on Twitter.
Right.
He would be just as fine letting the Marvel marketing machine market Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
But he doesn't do that.
No, he's a weirdo. And
He is.
And I'll never, like, as much as I loved the Suicide Squad movie, and I did love the Suicide Squad movie, I hated the end of Peacemaker with that weird how it became about climate change in like the last 8 minutes of the series.
If they hadn't done that, it would change everyone's perspective on the whole series.
Another thing is to talk about is like I don't know if I can buy that he's not going to ruin a lot of DC characters because like he did turn he turned Adrian Chase into a joke. He like Adrian Chase in Arrow was objectively good, even though they made him Prometheus. They didn't make him the original character. They made Adrian Chase Prometheus. They at least took the character seriously, and it's just a Seth Rogen. It just seems like Seth Rogen humor. When granted, Gunn's better at it, but like I don't know if I want to go to him for a Superman movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go to him for any, like, I don't want him making Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, no,
I don't.
I agree.
I want him as far away from Batman the Brave and the Bold as possible.
I agree.
And it's funny, too, because I've wanted them to do, it's like, I thought that they've been wasting money not putting the Bat family on screen earlier, considering how much they invest in Batman comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Batman literally single-handedly keeps DC from going under. Like, 90% of their output is not 90%, but 60% of their comic output are all Batman titles.
Yeah.
And like to not put Damian Wayne on screen is kind of insane, but I don't know if they get Affleck to direct it.
They're not going to do that.
You don't think they'll do that?
One could hope. I mean,
because he was originally going to do the Arkham Batman movie with Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke.
I'd like him, but I don't see that happening at this point.
It's funny too because he's objectively a good director. Like
Yes.
The Town is a good movie.
Yeah.
I even liked Live by Night, which a lot of people didn't like.
James Gunn is a proven director and producer, but not someone to run a studio, and that's
No,
my
I was saying Ben
problem.
Affleck. Ben Affleck is a proven
Ben
director.
Affleck,
No,
yeah.
Gunn can direct.
Ben,
He's just
Ben Affleck can too.
like I would like because they were talking about possibly having Ben Affleck direct the Batman the Brave and the Bold, and he arguably is better suited for that project than James Gunn is.
Yeah.
James Gunn would be better for like funnier titles.
He's
like he's not
better
really,
at a Peacemaker.
He's not really for Superman either.
No.
Like I don't know who you get for Superman. Who's a good director? Like who do you think that we've watched as a director? Like I would like them to get like either Ben Affleck or Denis Villeneuve to do Batman.
That would be those would be some good choices.
But even that might be a little bit too self-important for my taste, given Dune was a little bit slow.
Yeah, he's too busy with Dune for now. So.
But like who was another good director? Chat, who would you guys do? Yes, Argo, obviously Ben Affleck with Argo. But who is another good director that could do a Superman movie? Thoughts?
I don't know.
Off the top of your heads, guys, chat. Nobody? Michael Bay. There you go.
No.
Let's go.
No.
Oh, whoever he, I would like it, and I'll tell you why. Because whoever he casts as Lois Lane would be smoking hot.
I guess that's true.
And it would be like the pornification of Lois Lane, and it would be hilarious because Amy Adams is very beautiful, but very, she kind of has that every woman beauty.
Yeah.
Like she looks like you could, like the type of beautiful woman you would see on the street, right? She doesn't look like she doesn't look like a Margot Robbie who looks stunningly beautiful. She looks more regular in a good way.
Someone said they should get Henry Cavill to
direct
to do
it?
a Superman movie.
Well, yeah, we would love him to be the actor. Mel Gibson for Superman. Passion of the Superman. Passion of Kal-El. We could do that. I'm down.
That'd be rude.
That would be very rude. He was. Oh, I was reading an article earlier today that somebody wrote. It was, did Mel Gibson really say that that people in Hollywood drink baby's blood? It was one of those Newsweek articles that rates how true a statement is. And it was like
great.
Of course, the original statement was like Hollywood has the blood of children on their hands, which got twisted into like Hollywood drinks blood of children for ritual sacrifice.
But he said a lot of extreme negative statements about Hollywood that are true.
Yeah.
I don't think we get. Somebody said James Wan isn't he doing Aquaman? He's too busy with screwing up Aquaman right now.
He's too busy with that right now.
He might be better.
Releases.
He might be better fitted for a Batman movie
Elliot
though,
Page?
for a darker
I do
tone.
agree.
Like given his horror background.
Yeah, I don't think that he'd be bad.
Spike Jones. Spike Jones or Spike Lee. I'm down. All right, we got some super chats there, Mary.
Yes. Marcus Davis said, what is everyone's favorite creature feature and why is it 8-legged freak or deep blue sea?
Thoughts? Not my genre.
Honestly, not mine either.
Not my genre. No, I did go through like a deep. I almost bought all the Goosebumps books recently. Because we were talking about it the other day.
They were going to get amended.
Well, not just that, but just those covers are some of the most iconic book covers in history.
Yes.
Like I looked through the list, and every single one of them was as vivid to me now as it was the day I bought them at the Scholastic Book Fair when I was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
And those, like, I don't know if it was the same artist on all those covers, but my goodness, were those incredible.
They were.
The barking ghost, the barking dog one, the one of the barking ghost is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I posted a picture of it on Twitter. That and all of the Night of the Living Dummy ones, all incredible.
Corn Pop sent us an emoji that's like drooling.
Well, thank you.
Don't know why. Tacti Plati said, Vara, have you heard of the evils of big avocado?
No. I don't know what that is.
Do you like avocados?
Not really.
Okay, based.
Avocados are pretty gross unless it's like a very specific things. Otherwise, it's like on toast. That's disgusting.
I've never. Woo!
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I mean, I'm not allowed to say this here, but I do like avocados.
Oh my goodness. She guys,
Again,
she's
very
not just a fed.
specific.
She's not just a fed. She's a plant for big avocado.
Like on like a sushi bowl, avocado's good. But
Someone
other
was
than
just
that,
talking about poke bowls. In the
other than
chat.
that shit's nasty.
I like them on anything, like sandwiches, burgers,
we are
salad, anything.
Thank you, Bobcat, and thank you, Rover. We are getting very close to a second crisis party. I don't think I've ever actually chosen to eat an avocado, but
Just by itself?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, by itself, I get it.
By
but
itself,
That's
I
disgusting.
have done it.
That is awful.
Plus, it's also it's become soy, and it's definitely related to people in Portland, and it's definitely an SJW thing.
Hipster avocado toast.
Yes. By the way, guys, I do want to remind everyone that yesterday Mary did say that I dress politically neutral, which is the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me.
You're gonna clip that and
in
put
my
that in your
entire
Twitter
life. That when I
bio.
walk down the streets,
Yeah.
is he a leftist?
Do you agree, Vara?
Yeah,
If
I
you
would
saw
agree.
him
Yeah.
out and about, you didn't have any context, you wouldn't really know what his political leanings are.
See, that's what
I do.
If I ever went to a when we talk about when CPAC was last week, I was I'd go just for the hilarity of being dressed like this at CPAC. I'm not putting on a suit to go to CPAC.
Right.
Because I'm not a conservative. It's just somebody needs to make the skit it's women going to CPAC, and it's just you go to the dress store. It's just one rack of red
Yeah.
dresses and one rack of blue dresses, and that's all they have to
I was
choose
a
from.
weirdo. I went to CPAC when I was a teenager in demonias and overalls. Why did I do that? Disco Jensen said, makes me think back to the R&D they did for the one with Jet Li to make it look like he was fighting himself. Creeper tech going mainstream.
Not cool.
X said, guy who grabbed Scarlett was gay, didn't ask her.
That's he was okay. He didn't
So if
ask
he's
her. That's
gay,
even
he's
worse.
non-threatening.
He doesn't. He gets a pass somehow. That seems like a double standard.
Yeah, I feel like it's not okay, regardless of your orientation.
Plus, now we're coming up in a time where comic creators are just pretending to be gay because it's the only way to get work.
Yep.
They're 80% of them are just you can't prove. They're I'm bisexual because you can't prove otherwise.
Right.
Sure, I'm a guy that's been married to a woman for 20 years, but one time back in college, so they can just say that because it's advantageous for them.
Yeah.
James Orenthal when said, my late grandmother loved Filet-O-Fish, and so do I.
Is that a
Underrated fave.
Where is that from? It doesn't. I thought
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Isn't
Yeah.
McDonald's make the Filet-O-Fish?
it's- that's
I haven't had
McDonald's.
one. But
my mom loved the Filet-O-Fish.
They're okay. They're just not great.
Okay, I don't have high
I'd
standards.
eat it. If you put
though.
a Filet-O-Fish in front of me, I'd be okay, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't actively buy it for the $7 or whatever it costs.
Yeah, it's also expensive now.
Yeah.
I do like fish and chips.
Fish and chips is good.
High Voltage 75 said, Vara RE4 coming soon. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'll be streaming it on launch day. I'm really excited. I love Resident Evil, and 4 remake should be pretty good.
I think is that the one with the really iconic cover? Or no, 2 had the really iconic cover. All of them kind of.
but
I'm thinking because back then that would have been that long ago.
Yeah.
An original PlayStation. So I can still. It's really funny. I still have so many vivid memories more than anything of the covers of games original Metal Gear Solid. And all of that, at that time, was incredible. Or Turok and Turok 2 had incredible. The art was a lost. One of the most beautiful parts of that stuff, and it gets lost in an age now where digital download
because
becomes
all you
part
see
of
is
it.
a tiny little box,
Yeah.
and it's this is the game, but
And
you
it's
are only seeing really the title.
And people miss that was a big reason why you bought CDs, why you bought albums, or
Right.
CDs for my generation, records for generations before that. I always point out, I'm go back and look at the album art for Doggy Style from Snoop Dogg. Just do it, you'll love it. It's fantastic.
X asked, did Doomcock get back to you yet? He was sick.
I would love to have. Does he
did
stream
not-
with his helmet on? I don't know if he streams with his helmet on. I thought he streamed with just a blank screen.
I think he streams with it on,
It
but
w-
I cannot confirm.
I did not hear back from him.
It would be cool to have him on, and could we get him? Could we modulate the voice live? I wonder if we could
Probably.
do that.
He probably wouldn't do an in-person
It'd be cool.
appearance.
It'd
But
be cool to have him. In
yeah,
person.
haven't heard anything back yet.
Let's do one more, and then I want to do the Colin Kaepernick thing real quick. I do want to talk about that.
Doll Click said Vara has Anna Sorokin vibes in
Yeah.
a good way because I like Anna. I love this show. Yeah, you do. You kind of look like what she probably looked like 10 years ago or something.
Right.
You know? Yeah. I like
I've
the
never seen myself
glasses
that
and
way,
like
but
your
sure.
hair falls in a similar way, I think. Sure.
All right, guys. We are going to move on. We got this is an interesting one. It's kind of adjacent to pop culture. Sports is, I guess you could consider sports pop culture in a lot of ways. But Colin Kaepernick has moved far beyond that because nobody cares about him as an athlete anymore.
Yeah, no.
The worst part of this article is where they talk about how they pretend like he was forced out of football because of his political views. No. It says Colin Kaepernick accuses white adoptive parents of problematic upbringing and perpetuating racism.
Imagine like giving someone this life and
Oh
they turn out
my
to be
God,
a huge
dude.
success and then they just shit on you in
there's
public.
like still pictures of him like posing with his parents at events,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Haha, my son hates me."
Right.
Like he's
awful.
basically he's having a comic book made through Colin Kaepernick Publishing, so that's fantastic.
Called Change the Game.
And it's an activist comic, as we know. This is if Megan Rapinoe has her own production company now, and the Obamas have their own production company. I think these people underestimate just how poorly most of these things sell.
Yeah.
Like they don't realize that these things don't like. There's exactly one buyer for all of these, and it's the Scholastic Book Fair, the same place where I went to get my Goosebumps books. You're no longer getting Goosebumps books
Oh,
now.
no.
You're getting Change the Game by Colin Kaepernick,
Yeah.
where he complains about the fact that his mom, his adoptive mother, didn't want him to have cornrows because she said it made him look like a little thug.
I feel like all of these examples are just very generic. Like,
Yes.
like
Your
they're
mom-
not specific. It's just like my mom said I couldn't have this hairstyle. Anyone could say that though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like about it doesn't even matter. You know,
I mean,
what
if her
kind
kid
of hair
were
you
white, would
have.
she have said the same thing?
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents told me constantly, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
You look like a
Didn't you
hoodlum.
say you got cornrows one
did.
time when you were a kid?
I did. I'd braids, not corn. I had braids.
Oh,
I,
we're gonna get the pictures of that.
I
on
that
stream.
there are no photos. There's
gotta be somewhere.
I have some amazing photos with just the world's worst bowl cut where it was blonde.
Thank you.
Blonde with like the bowl cut being my original hair color.
I love it. This should be a
So
permanent.
chaotic.
You better use this one next time as well.
He'll come up with something better.
You also there's layered in there the explosions from when he blows up the Batcave.
Oh
Is
yeah.
in there as well. I put some time into this one.
You really did. A for effort.
My favorite part of the weekends now is I go like this.
Yeah, like
And I
what can
come upstairs
up
and I'm
with for
like,
the week?
how will I terrorize all of my co-hosts this week?
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic. So look,
He said, I know my parents loved me, but there were
There's always
still
a
very
but.
problematic things that I went through. It was important to show that no, this can happen in your own home and how we move forward collectively while addressing the racism that's being perpetuated.
the Marxists are
What are you
winning,
even
ladies
saying?
and gentlemen. The Marxists are winning. Like, this is what they want to do. They want to destroy the idea of family and the bond that families feel together. And one way to do that is to start publishing media that glorifies putting political and social causes above the connection you have with your own mother and father.
I feel like he's so mad in this case and he's using this haircut thing against his family. Did they do everything else perfectly for you? Like that's the only complaint you have, so you decided to put it in a book? Like really?
This is like the Brittany Griner comic
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
that
worse
was like
than that.
portraying her as some kind of hero
Right.
or like saint, like a martyr.
Like they like instead of drugs, like instead of her smuggling drugs from Russia, she was smuggling like abused children and trying to get them to safety or
Yeah.
something. No, they didn't actually do that. But that's like
I'm just
would be
imagining
something
someone
that
who's
they
like,
would do.
"Oh, I love comic books," and then they just own the Brittany Griner and Colin Kaepernick ones.
well, there've been some other ones. I mean, there's always Marvel has their
course.
Marvel has every
Oh, and they have the Ruth Bader Ginsburg one.
Yeah.
the Notorious Art, which apparently there's also an Amy Coney Barrett one. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And like when we talked about that originally, they're like,
Yes.
you got like the funny thing is I got a very polite response from the publisher.
Yeah.
Of that comic. They're
Yeah.
like, I wish you had done your, like, if you looked into it a little further, and they included the link, they were very polite about it. For
Yeah.
I mean, there was a little bit of like a do your
little bit of-
research.
Right.
But in general, it was a comic published out of Portland. I expected far more insanity than what I got.
Yeah,
and
they also made ones of like Sarah Palin. And
I love it.
Where's the Melania one though?
Where's the
question.
Elia one? She's not a politician, but they could have one where it's like who shot the sheriff, and it's an Alec Baldwin comic.
Oh no.
And they can do that.
No.
Yeah, like I
I just
love
feel
it.
like Colin's running out of money and relevancy.
He just got a huge, a
Right.
couple years ago, he got a huge
I
contract
don't
from
know.
Nike.
I feel like he's the type that would just blow
Think
through
so?
his money, though. Yeah.
And but even this article where they say he was pushed out of the league because of his political views. It's really funny. At the Super Bowl, on the end zone, at the back of the end zone by the field goal, has a sign that says "End Racism." So what? How does that disagree with his views?
Right.
In any way? Like we were just talking yesterday.
just-
It's Tim Tebow that got in trouble. It
Yeah.
wasn't Colin Kaepernick. He just got mad
You're
because people pushed back on him.
Playing pretend like you live in a world where like every establishment institution doesn't back you.
Yeah.
Right.
And that to them, that's oppression.
Yeah.
When only Disney and all of the Fortune 500 companies believe in me, but not this one publication, then I'm suddenly oppressed.
You just want power.
Oh yeah, AOC had a comic. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, she
Also,
did.
I don't normally agree with Dane, and I'm not the biggest AOC fan. As everyone knows, Lauren Boebert is my political, my crush. I guess yesterday, like Ivory Hecker posted a thing where they have like the voting records of all the politicians, and like the highest ranking were like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. And I sent her a message. I said, a weird political crush on Lauren Boebert intensifies. And but they said AOC had a comic, and they posted a picture, like they did that Photoshop of her with blonde hair, and somebody sent that to like Alex Stein, and they're like, "What do you think of this?" Like her as blonde looks oddly unsettling.
Yeah, some women are just supposed to be brunettes.
No, I think she looks fine, but it's just like it's unsettling, but it's weird. But like if she actually did it, it would work.
Right.
But the picture
Maybe.
is unsettling because it's like a picture you've seen before, where she clearly has dark hair.
Yeah.
Those people, man. So look, I can't imagine doing something like this with my family. The people who give you everything, and in his case, the people who chose you.
Right.
Like you weren't born into
That is
this.
like
If anything should humanize white people for Colin Kaepernick, it should be the fact that it's his family.
Right.
Yeah, and a
And
family
that's
that
still
chose
not
him.
enough. Like political indoctrination will still
That
separate
is so
people
sad
than
for
their family bonds.
His adoptive parents. I mean, they chose him, and now he's to the world basically being like, meh.
Throwing them away,
Right.
Like unless they just like, does he pay for everything for
Right.
them, so they feel like
and
they
he's
can't?
getting the interviews. He gets to tell everything that happened from his side, and they don't get to defend themselves.
He's very annoying looking too. Like
Yes.
I and it's also annoying because like remember he tried to have a tryout they gave him a tryout and he changed the location and wouldn't go to the standard tryout because he's a whiny baby. And these are the people that are now elevated and held to a high regard by a lot of the youth of America. Because they don't look into it. They're like, oh yeah, he was kicked out of the league because of his
And it's just
political
as simple
views. It's
as
like
that.
he like his record in his final season was 2-14. He's just not good.
Yeah.
He's just a very substandard quarterback. It has nothing to do with what he believes. But it's at least Megan Rapinoe gets her media, and she's part of a team that actually
People
wins.
have learned that if they're substandard performance in any field, then they can compensate for that by becoming an activist.
Yeah.
And that needs to be socially shamed as much as possible.
And they're all doing it. That's where Simone Biles is going now. And she's the best that's ever done it in gymnastics in a lot of ways. But a lot of them for Olympic athletes, they see it as like, look, you don't make money being an Olympic athlete. No. Like at all. Right? Like you can have endorsements, but you're paying money essentially to be to become an Olympic level athlete. So they have to start thinking about, where is my career going to go after this?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the easiest place for that to go now is lame, substandard, surface level political activism, which we then make fun of because it gets turned into comics. Think like Marvel with their what do they do? The Pride Month. They do a whole line of the Pride Month.
Yeah.
But they also do, what was the other one? Marvel Voices.
Yeah, and they do like a like women's product,
Women's,
but
like-
not Men's.
Did you know that International Women's Day was a communist plot by Vladimir Lenin?
That's it, all
Oh
right.
yeah, but like they did like Empower on Women's Day for Marvel.
yeah.
They can't get away
Yeah.
from giving women just horrible puns and like phrases,
can't.
like her story.
They just think it's gonna stick, but it never does.
Hershey's for Hershey, like the Hershey's, like
Yeah.
they can't just do anything with like a standard slogan. It has to involve her or she in it, and there's just some B-level marketing executive who's like, "This is freaking
This is
genius.
amazing.
This is amazing, everybody," and it just ends up being blah. So,
Yep.
Colin Kaepernick sucks. Just saying.
Definitely.
All right, we got some super chats there, Mary.
C. Lynn said, "How many crisis parties are needed for Mary or Brett to watch and review an anime? Literally any anime. All I want is one." Well, we would have to settle on which one. Like, and I'm not gonna go with like NGE or something that would take me like literally 10 years.
Yeah, are we talking?
But that's like the kind that I would even be interested in. So
What about like Cyberpunk Edge Runners?
I'm gonna let everyone in on a little secret, and I've kept this to myself. I have in fact started Attack on Titan. I
okay.
have.
Have fun.
Wait, how far are you?
I'm literally in the second episode.
Oh.
Well,
So
then
you haven't
now
really
you need to
started.
come up
No,
with
but I've started like just a couple days
how
ago.
many parties for you to finish this series.
It's like the thing is, it's never going to work that way because of how ADHD I am. I am constantly cycling. On any given night,
Right.
I'll watch, like on a slow night where I don't have a lot of work, I watch 2 episodes of 3 or 4 shows.
I just don't do that. I'm like one show,
No.
get all the way through, done.
No.
Move to the next.
Last night I watched 2 episodes of CB Strike, an episode of Into the Badlands, an episode of Angel, an episode of Buffy. And I mean, for the shows that I've already watched, those are just playing in the background while I'm doing other things. I only really played close attention to the Buffy episodes and the CB Strike episodes. But my brain does not do linear that well. Like I have to come back to it. Like I need the palate cleanser to then come back and start over again.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they started introducing like politics in season 4 of CB Strike, which I'm not like. It's not overbearing, but the client is like a Labour MP or something, or like he's like a right wing, not a Labour MP. He's like a British right wing politician, and like they're talking about like a political activist in the story, and I'm like, don't care, automatically don't care, tuning it out already because I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. So. We would have to, Mary, you'd have to settle on an actual title and then figure out how many it would take for you to watch.
Yeah, it would take a while, and I'm already in the middle of Harry Potter.
How's that going, by the way?
I had to skip last weekend, and then this weekend I won't be able to either,
Yep.
but I'm going to continue, promise. Rover sent a sticker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bobcat said, "We need more movies about cryptids, like outside of Tremors. What's the best movie you've seen about a cryptid?"
I mean, that's this whole genre that people tend to like really gravitate
Yeah.
towards. I don't know even which ones I would have seen that would have been super into it. Oh, also thank you, Rover, for the previous one for the big super chat. Thank you for that.
I think I've seen like some big movie about Bigfoot. I don't remember what it was called.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I think Bigfoot is blurry. The Mitch Hedberg skit. He's like, I think Bigfoot is blurry. He's like, that's way scarier. There's a large, out of focus monster roaming the countryside.
Corn Pop sent us a thinking emoji.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
People are saying that I should be watching either My Hero Academia or what are some other suggestions?
They're just casually listing off some of the longest series of like
Well,
1,000+
But
episodes.
literally, as somebody who doesn't
Right.
feel attached, I don't need to finish things, so that's
Right.
actually less of a problem for me.
Right.
But it is like, to be fair, like it's a lot harder. Like even for me, who doesn't want to watch, who knows he'll probably quit halfway through a lot of series. Like I see something with like 30 seasons, and I'm like.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, guys, Brett recommends. I don't know where you're going to be able to find this. There was a show for 3 seasons called Crossing Lines. It was an Edward Allan Bernero show in the vein. He was the producer of Criminal Minds. Think Criminal Minds, but it takes place in the EU, and it's a team of people that are allowed to travel over different, it's like an international team of crime fighters that can go between countries in the EU, and it's kind of interesting because it was actually filmed internationally. It wasn't filmed in the US, and it's got one American actor. It's got William Fichtner, who's great. Like, it's really funny because right after that was like when he did like Shredder. As like, and everyone's like, oh, by the way, you want an example of when people like had a problem with race swapping the other way? Nobody wanted William Fichtner as Shredder at all. Right? Like, nobody wanted white guy as Shredder.
Well,
didn't make any sense. Thank you. So, it's called Crossing Lines. I think it's on like one of those like the cheaper one, the free ones, like either Tubi or something like that. You'll have to put up with ads.
they're free, and I still don't sign up for them.
I don't. Well, I refuse to watch ads. I don't like. I can't.
I don't mind it.
It's
Gives you a chance to like go get a drink, settle
But
in.
you could just pause.
Yep.
If you wanted to.
Sometimes if it's a scene, if somebody's talking and saying something annoying, I just let it play and just walk out of the room and come back to it.
I need to be forced to pause against my will. That's the thing.
Oh.
I understand what they're saying. Like, they're saying that's Interpol. In the show, it's done through The Hague, so it's a separate group of people. It's very interesting. I do recommend checking that show out. Also good because like all of the actors are international, so there's some that are some of the actors are from Denmark, some are from Italy, so you get like a weird like array of accents and accents. And oh my god, the lead actress, she's see, I'm on a redhead kick lately.
Gosh.
But yeah,
well,
that
unfortunately for you, you're not seeing them much in media anymore.
no.
Problem is, like,
a bad
most of the
time.
redheads you see in media anyway are fake redheads.
Yep.
Right.
Most of them. It's
And I'm not talking orange. I'm talking like
Yeah.
actually trying to look realistic.
There's actually a joke about that in Burn Notice where like it's not till season 6 and Fiona goes, I think that's the first real redhead I've seen since I left Ireland. She says that to someone, so that was funny.
High Voltage 75 said, Mary, can you please release... Thank you! Okay, I'll wait until this is over to read your super
It is
chat.
really good.
Okay.
No, it's not over.
All right. Big finale.
Mary,
Look, he was
over it.
he was blowing up the Batcave. I have told Mary, I said, look, Mary, if you want input on what we scare people with,
I don't know. I
It's
don't want to
hard.
scare people. I want it to be like funny.
it's
Well, sometimes you want to scare people.
it's not about scaring people. I just like it to be a little bit shocking.
I don't know.
It's only really scary the first time.
Right.
Like it's not like it scares you
because
the
you don't know
second
when
time.
to expect it, but then it's like you
Yeah.
already know what it's going to be next time.
It comes out
So
of
it's a
nowhere.
little different.
They were saying that the bass was too high on this one, so like they can't really hear it that well. But like in studio, you can hear it.
Yeah.
High Voltage 75 said, Mary, can you please release Wesley from his hotel prison? I'd like to see him on PCC again. Thanks. I think he might be stuck there for a while. I don't know.
He's also a very busy man in that hotel. He's got a lot of stuff to do. Also, yesterday I posted a picture of he was in the green screen suit. He's like in a green screen suit, like the full body green screen suit that they
Yeah.
wear. Like, and people thought it was me, and I was flattered because I was like, "You guys think I'm that tall? Amazing!" Like, because I'm very clearly I'm like
You
the.
should have been like, yeah,
that's me. That's me for sure.
Could
Of
have
course.
deepfaked your face onto it.
Because in the thing, like he was like standing next to Taylor, and Taylor's taller than me.
Yeah.
And he was taller. I'm like, you guys think I'm taller than Taylor? Amazing, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I think there's one more that just came through there.
No, we've got tons more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you see?
Mine is not my. I think my computer's just not.
Okay.
Mine's lagging.
James Ornthal Wen said, avocado is a superfood. Also, California in a menu item's name, almost without fail, is code for contains avocado. In summary, avocado is
True.
based.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It's good. Like, I don't know what to
Yeah.
say.
I'll pass.
I don't agree, but
I'm a victim
it's
of
okay.
big avocado. Overdressed said Brett's happiness when the crisis party starts is contagious.
It's fun.
It's yeah.
It's a good one.
So what I want is like if I'm ever having like a picture taken again, they're like smile like somebody just set off one of the crisis parties.
We spent so long with just the air horns.
Yeah. it was,
Right, that's true.
Like, we didn't really think to change it.
Yeah.
Nessa Ludden said just because.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you. X said DVD was open to it, but got a nasty cold for weeks.
No.
Well,
if-
reply to my
happens?
email, dude.
Oh yeah, she reached out.
I already
to him.
reached
Like,
out.
If
I'm
in
waiting.
person, that would be. I mean, I would
Yeah.
love to have the voice, like find a way
Yeah.
to change the voice in person.
Yeah.
Or we
I'm
could
sure that there's a way that you could set it up.
even set up the green screen behind it, so it's got like the
Yeah.
flat the electric lights or whatever that
Yeah.
are always going
Are
on
our
behind him.
microphones capable of like being set in a way that
Surge could do it.
Okay.
Surge,
Yeah.
because we've got the soundboard. I think
Interesting.
Surge could
That'd
do
be
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Scott O said Mary's no count 3 today isn't offended today.
No. Also, you know that famous sound clip that's the laughing, like no, and then it's like all
Oh,
the
yeah,
laughing.
it's like,
Is
no,
that
no,
as?
No, that's like why I say it. Like I'm
Oh.
referencing the video.
But what is that
Yeah.
from? It sounds
I
like
don't know.
Az from Heel versus Babyface does that
don't
exact
know.
same thing.
No, it's not. It's
don't
like
know.
some I don't know. It's like, where did bruh come from? It came from just a dude saying bruh.
But I'm speaking of a
Like-
very specific clip of a guy going no, and then laughing. Like
Yeah.
that's Okay.
But that's not, I don't think it's from a show or anything.
But it
It's
just
like,
felt like the one I actually hear is actually one of
Yeah.
him, like from
I
one of
don't
his
know.
segments.
Maybe he made one.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. He'd
and
be
then,
great
and
to
then
have on.
laughing like a spray bottle that's almost out of like all-purpose cleaner.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Rhaegar Targaryen said the anime should be Castlevania.
Is that
There's
the
a lot of good,
the
yeah.
Netflix
Yeah, there's
Castlevania?
a
They
lot
also
of
said
good
Full Metal
anime.
Wait, is
Alchemist.
Netflix Castlevania considered anime?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's an anime.
Okay. How many seasons? It's like 4 seasons?
Yes.
Okay.
You could watch like Cyberpunk Edge Runner.
Maybe I will
How long
watch.
is Death Note? How many seasons is that?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I was thinking about watching that. I
Death
don't know.
Note's good.
Potatoes for Seamus said, "Hey, you're still live. Mary tacos, Brett blonde.
Look,
Brett's not gonna go blonde again.
it's
Come on,
it
do
took
something fun.
20 crisis parties to go blonde, and then I had to like grow it out, and
You
then
do it live.
You liked it,
I-
though. Don't deny.
I liked it because I got compliments like the first
I
day.
personally didn't like it, but that's okay.
See?
That's just my
shoulda never said
personal
that.
opinion.
Stick
Just-
with
now
it.
I'm,
personal.
now I'm definitely never. Plus, it's too short right now, anyways,
Right.
and I would
he
never
got
do it.
tons of compliments.
Yeah.
it's like
oh,
the-
you
not
did. That's
saying
true.
it.
The day after I dyed it, I had to go to an appointment, and like 2 like women at the doctor's office were like, "It looks so nice," and I'm like, "Is this a setup?" Like I was like, "Did Hannah Claire call someone here and tell them to say that?" It
I mean,
felt
it didn't
weird.
look awful. There's definitely been worse hair looks for people. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like the culture we have here, though, where like people will just start random conversations with people, like short conversations that don't lead anywhere, but they're just like funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
I feel like other people in other cultures don't do that. Rhaegar Targaryen said, "If you watch Neon Genesis Evangelion, expect tears."
It's very sad.
I don't know. I'm kind of heartless.
What
Fair.
is something that has moved you heavily? Has there been movie or entertainment that has moved you? Because like I posted yesterday this clip from this show, right?
Yeah.
And I said like I watch stuff like this. It's this scene where Robin's character is basically finds out that she's been cheated on by her boyfriend, her fiance that she's about to marry, and it was moving. The way this was performed was moving. Her character growth is moving. I said like this is why shows like this are important, right? This is, when it's done well, art.
Yeah.
And art is worth saving.
Yeah,
Like, I
definitely.
don't like the idea of demeaning it just because we don't like the way it's
Well,
going
right,
right now. When it's done well, high art is beautiful. And that matters.
Definitely.
Right? But, like, is there anything you can think of, Mary, that's, like, you've seen and it's been actually moving to you?
That would take more thought than I'm capable
Yeah,
of.
that's the problem with on
Those types
you
of
know,
questions, yeah. It's like, hey, how about this really
if
deep
you gave
into-
me an hour, I'm sure I could come up with like 10.
It's like when people
Like when I
ask,
was younger, I cried at Marley and Me, but that's like
Hey,
because
nothing
I was
wrong
a
with that.
kid.
4 times.
Yep.
If I watched it now, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Did you like The Passion of the Christ? Did you ever see The Passion of the Christ?
I did. I
Thoughts?
didn't cry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like when people ask for recommendations, I'm like, dude, I have a list here now.
I don't want
Yeah.
to
that I
watch
generally
things that
will-
make me sad.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch things that like fill me with dread.
Right.
Well, I'm not even talking about sad. Like the scene that I was talking about in that show, it didn't make me sad.
just
It was
moving.
just moving
Yeah.
because it was like, this is a character that had been uniquely portrayed as like both strong and capable,
Yeah.
but undeniably feminine.
Right.
In the context that like the scene before this, she gets a severed leg sent to her, and she doesn't just like, oh my God, like she's disturbed by what she sees, and her partner, who is a military veteran,
Yeah.
is the one that has to turn her head away and lead her away and then comfort her.
Yeah.
That is the natural reaction. He's seen combat, she has not.
Right.
So it felt honest and real to the characters, but it doesn't demean her. She's still the same strong character that's competent at her
Yeah.
job that she was before.
Yeah.
So
And this was made in what year?
2017.
Okay.
So no, that episode would have been later. So that episode would have been
Post-current year even.
That episode would have been 2018. So
Okay.
like I said, but it's British, so it's possible that like
Right.
Different?
some of those stereotypes that we now put into place
Yeah.
aren't quite the same.
Christopher Gore said, speaking of Alec Bullseye Baldwin, his daughter just had her baby shower at the strip club. Nothing weird about that, fam.
That's normal.
Yeah, we talked about
it's
that.
the end times, ladies and gentlemen.
That's for sure.
Corn Pop said, Mary is so hot. I am sorry.
At least he apologized
With
for
a
making
telescope
True,
you.
emoji.
true.
Also, guys, while we read these, I'm making homemade.
Oh, yes, it's time. I thought you were going to forget.
I didn't forget. Unfortunately, it's kind of warm now.
That's what I was saying. Like,
Yes,
is it going to be
I
cold?
should have done it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I promised Vara when we
Yep.
were talking last time, we were talking about Mountain Dew Baja Blast
Yep.
and the myth that one can make Baja Blast at home with just regular Mountain Dew and Cool Blue
I convinced
Gatorade.
you to try it.
What
So-
is
'cause
the
you didn't believe
flavor
it.
Cool Blue anyway?
Blue. It's just blue.
blue.
It's just blue.
And it's cool.
So
Just like glacier cherry or whatever.
Just-
like, what does that
just-
mean?
Just use your imagination.
I
a
have
little
done
bit.
I have done a bunch of testing, and yes, the tried and true formula seems to be almost no Gatorade, mostly Mountain Dew, and it will not be super accurate as far as color, but
Right.
closer as far as taste. So we're gonna, if you want to keep reading, I will try to do this.
Okay. Wait, I just want to clarify. Like, what is Baja Blast made of when you get it at Taco Bell?
The hell if I know. It's made of
don't tell
Baja.
you?
It's made of Baja Blast.
It's supposed to be like a tropical blue Mountain Dew.
That's literally how much they're like I've been
okay.
told to make.
That's the best description I
Okay,
can
keep
give.
going.
Watching like what
Rover
are you
sent
doing?
us a big super chat with
Thank
a
you.
sticker. Thank you.
Here we go.
can't read.
Hold on, I got it.
Don't spill it.
Don't spill
He's
it.
literally going to pour this all over the computer and the stream will go
Just
out.
die.
See that,
We're gonna have
guys?
to- it's unfortunately not super
it looks
cold.
beautiful.
It is very pretty.
It looks like
It is
something in a
definitely
Teenage
more
Mutant Ninja
green
Turtles.
now.
Vibrant.
Yeah, it is
I like this.
definitely.
Okay, well, let's get your reaction.
I mean, it tastes pretty close to Baja Blast.
Yes!
I gotta be honest.
Yeah?
I think I'm gonna go
I mean,
become a
Baja
mixologist.
Blast is basically just it's like just the normal Mountain Dew with like this slight like tropical taste. I don't know. I'm sure that we could reverse engineer
I mean,
it.
I'm just thinking this
We
is
could
like
figure it out.
99% Mountain Dew. You're basically just drinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah, but it's Baja Blasty. I don't know.
All right.
It makes me want to go to Taco Bell.
And I also
It
don't
makes me
I don't get
really
the
wanna go
connection
as
to Taco
well.
Bell, like tropical with Mexican food.
Right.
Well,
it doesn't
the
make
color,
sense.
that blue is a
Well,
very Taco Bell color.
And Taco Bell has like the exclusive patent on it or something, like
Yeah.
only they can make it. And
Yep.
like if it's sold in stores, it's like for a month at a time during a year, during like July
Or anything
and, like,
Baja Blast
it's all
themed.
Taco Bell marketed.
I've never tried it.
In the chat,
Not really a soda person.
yeah, you said Mary said she didn't want
I'm
to.
I'm
Mary said
opting
no.
out of this
Yeah.
experiment.
but it's
I
worth
mean,
it.
I'm not. It's not really my type of thing.
It does make me want to go to Taco Bell.
Yes.
I feel like I would dislike
really
it no
does.
matter what. Is it Taco Bell time after the show?
Well, also
Yeah,
if Mary has no experience with
Right,
Baja
she needs
Blast,
to
she's like,
taste them
is
back
it
to
accurate?
back.
I have
I
no
would have,
idea.
Yeah, I don't have a frame of reference. Right. Joshua French said, "How many crisis parties to get married to dye her hair blue with Gatorade?"
Well, we've got
Not-
the Gatorade
not
right
with
here
Gatorade.
if we need to.
But I've already dyed my hair blue. I've been there. I've done that. I
You could
don't
always
really want to
like
do
the-
it again.
You could always do like the under layer, so like it kind of peeks through.
I'd get too much hate about it.
Kinda
They'd be like, you're an SJW now.
Aw, who
It kind of
cares?
reminds me of Tropic House Records, which is like one of those YouTube channels that just has like the long streams of like a bunch of like house music that plays for hours at a time. This is literally the taste embodiment of that logo.
Actually, kind of.
Yes.
This is giving Report of the Week vibes. I love his food reviews. Chris Noski said, hire Henry Cavill to direct the new Superman.
I'd watch it.
Dude, and he would be great because he's like, everyone knows that he got really involved with the Witcher process. He wanted to be more involved with that and they wouldn't let him. They called him annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's a similar story about Jenna Ortega like changing the scripts during filming of Wednesday.
She's like,
they tried to get her to say cringy shit, and I'm like, did
Yeah.
adults actually write this?
well, adults write cringy. Adults
like she's supposed
can't
to
write
see
kids.
this dress that she wants to wear to prom, and she's like, I love that dress. I can't believe I just said that. I hate myself.
Yeah.
Like, you wanted Wednesday Addams to say that?
Right, out of all characters, her.
And
So I get
apparently-
why she wanted to change the script on
Yeah.
the fly,
Yeah.
because that sucks.
Apparently, the dance scene was supposed to be like a flash mob.
What?
Like, not just her. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. She was the one who.
Didn't she say that like I don't remember, a couple months ago or something? She had said that.
And so, and
So she was like, no,
yeah.
I'm just not doing that.
Well, it's like I kind of appreciate it. Like in a lot of ways, like on one hand, I want to be like, look at this spoiled person just making changes on the fly, but on the other hand, it's kind of like
They're good changes.
it's-
So
It's kind of like in professional wrestling when they say like a person who values their character protects the character, meaning
Right.
like if they can prevent bad things from happening
Like
to
Henry
them.
Cavill.
Yes, like
He
they protect the
attempted, at
character.
least.
In professional wrestlers, they protect their character. They don't want them to lose too much because it affects their ability to be seen or taken seriously. So if she's going to be playing Wednesday for a long time, she needs to protect that
Right,
character.
she wants to.
So, yep.
Nasta B said, just stick to anime movies. Wolf Children made my GF and parents tear up. Paprika, Ghost in the Shell, and Akira are also good, also hand-drawn. People also mentioned Studio, is it Ghibli? Is that how you say it? Ghibli?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they mentioned that too. I don't know. I've had like Princess Mononoke recommended a couple times, and I wanted to watch that one.
What is it, Grave of the Fireflies?
No, I
That
haven't
one's
seen
good.
that.
That one's really, really, really sad.
Is it they're like an anime movie that's called like You or something? Maybe not.
You. I don't know.
It just doesn't really like resonate.
There's like a
with
Beauty
me.
and the Beast type one where
Okay.
it's like she's like a virtual pop star.
Oh, that's cool.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. Speaking of another, Brett recommends Beauty and the Beast, the CW series, was with Christine Cruick, ruled. Yeah, it was like a police drama.
I never saw it.
It was like I kid you not. It
never
was a
saw it.
police
It sounds
drama.
like a parody.
Yeah.
No, it was freaking sweet. I think it was Christine Cruick, right? She's like
How did they get the rights to do that?
it's like it was just called Beauty and the Beast. It literally had she's a police officer and he is a genetically modified super soldier that like had his face kind of, and it's Hollywood Beast, meaning he's just super hot still, but he's got like a scar and like in like a really inobtrusive place that doesn't affect how handsome he is.
Yeah. It's like everything they did with Game of Thrones. It's like Tyrion's supposed to be like completely mangled and awful looking, same with the Hound, but they're still like pretty
good
hot
looking.
actors,
Yeah.
right? That women were like, oh my God, I like this character now.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm attracted to someone so hideous. I'm like, because they're not
it's like
hideous.
He's got like a little scratch across
right
his
here.
face and like over his eye a tiny bit.
Yes, and they're like, there was a Beauty and the Beast CW show. Yes, there was.
How did they get the rights to even call it that?
I have no idea.
Well, that reminds me of like Once Upon a Time. How they had that was a CW show, I believe, and they had all of the like Disney
that was an ABC show. That was for like 7 seasons.
That was ABC. Yeah,
those
they
are
had
all
like
folklore
Beauty
characters.
and the Beast,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and they had like Elsa
People
towards
loved
the
that
end.
show.
Yeah, that show is, I don't know. I feel like it fell off. After
It's
the
giving
first, like,
Kingdom Hearts though. Like,
yeah. Yeah, the
don't
first
know.
like 3 seasons were okay, and then I'm just like, I don't
Requires a
want to watch
certain
this anymore.
audience.
Like once they started bringing like Elsa in, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm out.
Yeah. James Orenthal when said Hakeem Olajuwon could be a no origin.
Ooh, Hakeem Olajuwon, the basketball player. Also, did
Olajuwon?
anybody see the story about Sean Kemp being involved in a drive-by shooting? Like famous basketball player Sean Kemp was like involved in a
Yeah.
drive-by shooting. It was freaking crazy. It's like, how does this stuff happen to like?
Well, so was our coworker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Not that rare.
Apparently so. Forgot about
It's
that.
mean streets out here. X said, I have a physical voice changer, XLR input, aux out. I'd be happy to let you borrow it, and I know where the studio is. And he sent us a username.
I have a voice changer like the one, like the telephonic one they use in Scream,
Yeah.
which never sounds. It's so funny. In Scream 1, when they reveal the killers, I don't know if I should reveal the like who it is, but they do the thing where they
Spoilers.
Yeah, from the movie that came out in 1996. He holds like, so in the movie you hear what's his name? Roger Johnson? I don't remember his last name. The actor talking who does the voice for Ghostface.
Yeah.
And then you hear him do it with the voice changer and it sounds nothing like it. So from Scream 2 on, what they would do is when they would do the reveal, he would put his voice, like his thing up to his mouth, and then they just dub in the actor's voice, which always sounded way better. And then in Scream 3, they had like a voice changer that could do other people's voices, which isn't a real thing. It became really hokey, but I still liked it.
Yeah.
So
Now the technology exists.
yeah,
So-
unfortunately. Yep.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Mary, answer your DMs, LOL.
Okay.
That LOL is like low-key pressed.
Yeah, it's like,
answer DMs.
LOL, I'm trying to not piss you off. LOL.
I tend not to answer my DMs. Sorry, Potatoes.
I'm going to DM you specifically to see if you answer it.
Yeah. High Voltage 75 said, I think Brett secretly liked being blonde, but hated not being able to wear a hat.
I mean,
He did end up wearing a hat,
I
but
wore a hat most of the time.
he not so secretly loved being a blonde.
It's like,
Every time that he made a mistake, it was like, oh, it's because I'm blonde.
it's blonde. It's just because I'm blonde. Okay, it's like and blonde.
And we
and-
matched.
it's
It was
like
great.
I look back and I was happier then. Blondes do have more fun. That's
have to get
crazy.
you back on the blonde
You were
train.
happier then.
I have no idea. Well, was I happier then? Maybe I was.
X said, obviously, I know not to just show up. Yeah, I was hoping you didn't mean you were just going to show up to the studio with the... Yeah.
Just I have a voice changer, and like somebody answers, like is at the door, like
Right.
hello.
Yeah. Talking and Drawing with Shane Davis said, I cried at Milo and Otis.
Oh yes, I forgot about Milo and Otis, and hey, Shane Davis, good call.
Hello.
All right.
Christopher Gore said, this is for Brett and Mary. Is a taco a sandwich?
Oh my God.
No.
These are these questions I choose
It's
to
like-
not have
okay,
opinions on.
clearly
These are societal
Right,
traps.
It's not. A hot dog is like, it's like a taco because it's not, it's different. It's different.
I mean, a hot dog isn't
I mean,
a sandwich.
it's kind of a sandwich though.
These questions are
it's
societal
not.
traps.
It
Just
kind
because
of
it
is.
involves
I'm kind of arguing both sides right now because
bread.
I get both arguments, but it kind of is because
It's not flat. It's tubular.
right. But does the
It's
shape
not-
matter that
Yeah.
much?
Yeah.
I mean, you've still got something in the middle and then something on the outside holding the thing in the middle.
That could describe a lot of things,
Well, right.
including tacos and quesadillas.
Well, right.
Are quesadillas
Is
sandwiches?
a quesadilla like right?
No, they're not. I think it's just your intuition will tell you.
I see
Here's the real
Julie in
question.
chat. Oh my
Which-
lord, the taco debate! Didn't we solve this?
Which way do you turn your head when you eat a taco?
Turn my head. I turn the
What?
taco, not my head.
That's an actual thing. People say, like, do you turn your head, or
That was
do you,
out of
or do you
pocket.
turn,
Are
Are
or
you
do you
trying
turn
to
the taco?
make me do a
No,
suggestive
you didn't ask if we did.
gesture
You
on
just
the
said
show?
what
Which
way
turn?
do
Which-
you turn?
to the right.
You don't turn your head. You turn the
Absolutely.
taco.
You do. Nope. You absolutely turn your head.
What do you mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely turn your head.
All right.
Yep.
If you say so. Dash Fortune said, both Claned and Your Lie in April made my eyes sweat manly tears.
Oh, that's good.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, when Optimus Prime died in the OG Transformers film, when that certain character dies in OG Final Fantasy VII, when Star-Lord remembers his mom in
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. I mean, like, I'm trying to think of like the last
don't
time I
cry at
cried at a
stuff.
movie. I don't know if that's.
Suspense really does kill me though. Like I scream and like can't sit still and I cannot look at the screen if I actually am like in like a moment of like suspense in a movie. I can't take it. Like,
But you like skip ahead and like
I
find the
genuinely
answer.
look away. I literally do this.
I feel like
can't
most
look.
people will skip to the end, see like what the twist is or who the bad guys, and then they'll go back because they are like, oh, okay, I get it now.
The other thing you do with tacos, they're still talking about tacos.
They're going to the whole rest of the stream.
You put another taco shell on the plate, so that way the taco ingredients that spill out become another taco.
Turns into a tostada.
An extra taco in which you can eat.
Why not just eat it with a fork?
Well, that's taco salad, and it's like I'm back in junior high.
But it's not a salad. It's not on anything.
Junior high.
Why
does
don't
that
you
have to
just
do with
pick it up with
taco
a fork
salad?
and
Because that
put
was
it
the only
back
place I ever
on?
ate taco salad was in school. I never ate taco salad at home.
Okay.
Okay.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, Mary and I eat tacos correctly. Yes, we do.
Yeah, who turns their head? You turn the taco.
Turn both.
You're bigger than the taco. You're letting the taco be the alpha, and you're turning into the beta.
It's
like,
a
we're
hard-
looking at the green line test of you and the taco, and it's not
Are we
correct.
talking soft shell or hard shell here? I'm talking hard shell tacos.
Well, yeah, because the soft
Either
shell, you
way.
don't turn.
Yeah.
You don't even turn
This
if
is
it's a soft
like
shell.
I'm still right, so it's fine.
You're wrong.
I'm right.
X said, if useful, get my email from that Timcast username.
Okay.
And I can at least send a link to the thing on Amazon. Well, we'll likely go for Surge's help with that.
Yeah, most likely we would do it in like we have a
But
soundboard
we haven't
here.
even
Yeah.
gotten a reply to our email.
We'll come back to this when we find out if he ever responds.
We don't even know if he wants to be here.
We have to talk. We have to talk to. We'll talk to Lore. We want to talk to Lore Lodge
Rather
too.
presumptuous. We're like, we have the technology.
Like, don't worry, don't worry. I know
do
you want to
this.
come, so don't worry. We've already got it worked out.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great when you're here.
He's like creeped out. Okay, we're done with the super chats.
All right, guys. Vara, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me here on YouTube, Vara Dark Titan Media. You can find me on basically every social media platform: Twitter, Minds, BitChute, Odyssey, Getter, Discord.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I say it at the end of every stream, so it's kind of ingrained in my memory now. But yeah, you can find me on basically everything: Vara Dark or Vara_Dark.
Perfect. Mary, where can they find you?
You can find pictures of me on Instagram at Mary Archived, and you can send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived. And how about we do like a meme review on Monday?
No, because you will not be here on Monday.
Oh, right. I'm not going to be here on Monday. That's a warning that you need.
Yep.
But I'll be back on Tuesday, so see you then.
Does everyone know where you're going, or are you going to be?
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't
Okay.
know what's
All right,
happening.
all right,
They don't
let's-
know what's coming.
Uh-oh.
It's super secret. So on Monday, I will be on the show here with Hannah Claire Brimlow, and Taylor will be on with us. We're gonna have fun on Monday. Dane's got stuff going on that day too, so it'll be a fun day, guys. Before we go, could you like this video? Could you leave a comment on it? Could you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? And also check to make sure that you are still subscribed, because I have been getting messages with people saying that they've been getting unsubscribed. So not nice, YouTube. Not nice at all. It's very mean of you.
Censorship.
If you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic. My Twitter is so much more positive than so much of the stuff
and
we
you
talk about here.
to have Twitter for so long.
Yes,
Right?
well,
It's ironic.
Yeah.
because I'm making it positive. I'm talking about stuff I
Right.
like rather than arguing.
Usually.
I did make like a snarky comment about like Actress Plus the other day in reference to Women Plus. That, and even after I said it, I was like, I shouldn't have done that. That's not nice. So you can follow me there. I'm much more positive on there, guys. For the show, we are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you would like to listen to this podcast, it's on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to follow this show on social media, we are on Twitter at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode on Monday. See you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.